Yeah, they're late. They can live with it.
I just don't know what that
Infernal
was.
said he's just coming back. Good. He should join.
There's Infernal.
So he'll be on his way.
Harlan.
Hello, Infernal. Now we're just waiting on a Harlan to show up. Anyway, hello and welcome to Crabby D&D. I am here with my players. Sudz.
Hello.
Harlan is currently fighting his way out of hell. Sam.
Hello.
Simon.
Hello.
Jamie.
Hi.
And Infernal.
Wow.
And because none of them did it, ooh woo. So.
Ah, yes.
It was
yes.
your turn. It was your turn, Chris.
All right.
No, Sudz is next
It's my
week.
turn.
Nope, not happening.
Okay, someone remind me. I'm next week.
It's fine. There's always I've always got some dice next to me. They're always there, and these dice can turn into damage dice whenever I want them to. It's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yes. And look at that. There's a percentile dice as well.
Well,
Anyway.
Malcolm's gonna die, guys.
I don't know. I might. Let's see. If I was actually doing damage, you would take 94 points of psychic damage.
Malcolm would
Oof.
almost be dead.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, you'd be fine. But yes, welcome to
Okay,
Crabby D&D. User announcements. Thank you to Nosa for all the artwork that has been done. All of these wonderful pieces over here that you otherwise see. Plenty of things coming through the pipeline. Things for campaign 1 and for campaign 2, which I will be slowly but surely working on. Also, I'm going to announce this here so that I don't forget and so that I do drive myself to do it. At some point in the near future, Smith, if you're watching, hello, I will be doing a Warhammer campaign. The Warhammer campaign will be, well, less of a campaign and more of a one-shot that will last 8 hours and may or may not include at least 20 members of my PlanetSide group. So, look forward to that when that happens, because I certainly am. It's going to be a task. You're going to need drinks and snacks. So, we'll see how things go. But yes. Outside of that, thank you to Tabletop Audio for all of the sound and music you supply for this. It is a free product. You can go and check it out. And the guy who makes it all is an amazing guy. This is all done on Tabletop Simulator. We took a week out last week, and now we are back. So yes, all of the battle maps were made on incarnate.com. You can go and check that out. I also make maps, and I do take commissions for anybody who does want maps made. This includes you guys, players. I don't charge anything, so use that opportunity as you see fit. I will be making some maps over the next few weeks, though, so there may be a delay in map making.
Guys,
As I
guys,
see fit.
we can all give Chris exposure, guys.
I want every single building in Adamanthia. If you could do that, that'd be great.
I am back. I am back. Sorry that took so long, guys.
That's fine.
I would like Oregon, please. Every building in
Also, I
Oregon,
heard
complete.
exposure, so
No.
yes, I would like to expose Chris.
No.
Chris is the Zodiac killer.
I knew it.
Ted is Chris Cruz. I failed at the beginning and I decided to continue on.
All right.
Chris hasn't been in Texas, he's been in Cancun, but never mind.
Anyway, that went somewhere.
I don't think that counts.
No. So, I think without further ado, let us begin tonight's
what
session.
table? My
Indeed.
tabletop won't work.
Tabletop won't work.
Tabletop.
Oh no.
Restart it.
Duct
It's
tape.
fine.
This is the third time.
Third.
I think my
Start it
PC
again.
doesn't like Tabletop
Tabletop.
Simulator.
Hmm.
I don't know why. It's newly bought.
Integrity
I'm
Gaming
telling you.
Cache.
Fair point.
Anyway,
I'm glad I understood that sentence.
so last session, our party of adventurers: Elsyan, Queglod, Sasha, Malcom, Bern, and Rook. After making their way into the Barrenlands, or more specifically Stalagness, the capital of which, meeting with Malcolm's aunt, the Queen, and having a rather intense first combat, the party settled down for the night, with a little bit of gambling on the side, some intense drinking of the dead man's brew, and some experimentation. The party then proceeded to explore town, doing some other things in their own time. Malcom, for example, went and sat on the top of Stalag Nest, a place which, by all means, should either be pointy or very rarely trekked. And as a result, he spent time to himself, relaxing with the surroundings and the nature of the surrounding area. The rest of the party split off, exploring town, some of them going and looking for magical gear and items, happening across Osbone, someone who they didn't expect to meet in town, and nor did I, by all establishments. But, natural 20 was rolled on disadvantage, so these things happen. With the meeting of Osbone and some uncovering of some interesting information, him being the shadow of one of the still alive Dawn Marshals, the party met, spoke, otherwise did some trading, Bern acquiring a particularly strong artifact, and Elsyan trading off a page in history for several dozens of spell scrolls.
So many scrolls. I just want you to know that when you say several of dozens, it was only 21.
Oh, okay. So almost 2 dozens.
Several half dozens.
Several half dozens, yes. With that and Rook picking up his belt of strength, the party headed back and proceeded to head to their rooms as Elsyan sat down on the floor, taking out his tome and scrolling through it, drawing the markings on the ground, the magic inlaying itself, as the sigils began to glow and a doorway erupted forth. The party entered in, going into Elsyan's magnificent mansion, but it wasn't his. It was Trisha's, one of the Dawn Marshals, and with this they just came across her magnificent mansion. A beautiful tower-like structure built up from a cathedral within this endless plain around, sections of the building slightly twisted and contorted compared to the natural structure of any building. Wildflowers in the sky overhead. As it bustles past, the party wanders in. They see Farnsworth, all of them, for the first time, and he offers them cups of tea, something that they had never expected to happen, but it did. With this, the party enjoyed a little bit of refreshment, some relaxation time, spoke to Trisha about unlocking their artifacts in certain ways, before they sat down and began to plan. They began to talk about what they would be doing and what would come next in their little venture, before Rook began to raise a series of very important questions. And that is where we left off. So, you all currently sit round a beautifully carved, what looks to be that of a teak kind of dark hard oak table, freshly varnished and well kept, a candelabra in the centre with a hanging crystal chandelier overhead, a series of teacups and plates placed in front of you with sandwiches, toasts, crumpets, anything that you might have for a midday snack. As you sit there, observing the surroundings, seeing various mirrors, portraits, and other decorative icons in this area, in the large hall here, you sit on soft, kind of plush chairs. You look across to one another as Rook brings up the subject.
Okay, so, guys, I've got a couple of questions I think we really need to think about.
Okay.
Well, it's in regards to
simple
the
ones with
blood.
simple answers? Oh, no, not simple ones with simple answers.
No, not
We
simple
kill him?
at all.
What?
Well, that's the dream, isn't it? But to start with, so I've got like 7-ish questions. That's very specific, I know, but that's how it is. So to start with, like, how do we get into the city / stronghold?
That is a very good question.
Okay.
Teleporting. But we don't know the place, so it's gonna be tricky. Anyone got any ideas?
Bern, you said
Done
your people have been
silence.
fighting with the city or the fortress. Or
Yes,
your
they've
organisation.
attacked. They attacked the city. Yes.
So you have a rough idea of where this place is?
I've never been there, but I'm sure they could take us to it.
Okay, so that would
Well,
answer how we're going to get there potentially.
No, that was quick.
If they
But-
could get you in sometime before, then we could teleport there whenever we
Yeah,
found out that we needed to
Not
be there.
inside the city. Like they could show us where
But-
the city is.
If
they
we
could
can
take
get
us
us
somewhere
near the city-
close, yeah. If they take us somewhere close by, then we can teleport there, and either it would probably be safest to find a way to sneak in from there.
I mean, I can cast seeming to get us in and make us seem like people that belong.
How long does that last?
That is another very good question, Rook.
One noteworthy thing with seeming is that it does require you to maintain your shape, and because you are all bipedal, that does lead a problem when the Taratan have 8 legs and 2 arms each.
Yes, I am aware.
The
Okay.
original mention was the
8 hours.
was the Plague Lord's insects, because they
Yeah,
are bipedal.
Mm.
However, showing up early as those, you don't know what that effect that will have, or
It probably won't work.
what that will mean.
I don't really have much else I could do. Let me just double check the spells. that
What
I've
if we
got.
all wore like, you know, like sort of like the petticoats and the sort of like the dresses they had in Victorian times and before, the ones with like the really big wooden like frame around them. What if we wore that but with like fake spider legs on, and then you did the seaming on us?
Well, actually, thinking about it, if we're teleporting there when we get the call to go there, then it won't matter anyway, because when you get the call to go there is
When we
near
get the
enough to
call-
when the wedding's.
Well, when
when
we
the
get the
wedding's
call-
gonna happen.
It's just a question of if we want to scout out ahead of time.
Well, to
That
start
is the
with,
issue. The thing is, we can send familiars. That it would be feasible that they'd be able to sneak if we can get them past what I presume are walls.
true, but if it's inside the building, it might be a little bit more challenging to get familiars in there. I mean, to start with, we have no idea where the wedding's even being hosted in this building. Or if, I mean, I don't even know if this is a series of buildings. We could be in any of the buildings. Honestly, also, when we get the send-in, or when we receive the message, it was 3 days from when we receive it. We're going to want to make sure we have an understanding of what the hell it is we're getting into, and probably who we're going to be fighting.
So we know who we have to deal with, who will be prepared against.
Yeah, because I'd rather not fight the Prince of Blood if, you know, the entire army is going to be at his wedding. That feels like a fight we're going to
Well,
lose.
here's the thing. It may be a fight we're going to lose if that happens, but we've still got to try it.
Oh, it's true,
Oh God,
but,
self-sacrifice! Ow!
but
Ow!
it might mean difference in sort of how we approach our strategy. So whether it's, okay, let's not try or let's see if we can lure him somewhere by, I don't know, holding the Empress hostage or something like that, rather than just a straight out fight pretty much at
Wait
the
a minute.
altar.
A kidnapping? That's a good idea.
I don't know, it sounds like something Elsyan would do.
It does sound like something Elsyan would do. Also, talking in the third person is also something Elsyan will do. Elsyan is going to keep talking about Elsyan like this.
For God's sake. Nice.
Rook gave Elsyan a very good idea.
Perfect.
Elsyan is
Grateful?
joking. I'll just keep it up for a little while. Damn it, I
Fair.
failed.
So yeah, I mean, to start with, our main priority is probably going to be getting there. If we got a way of getting there, it's getting into the city / stronghold, whatever it is. Then probably going to be locating the wedding. I mean, we're going to have to do that. Don't know where that's going to be.
Oh, I think we look for the fanciest place in town, and that's where it's gonna be. We
That's
know the
true.
Prince of Blood. We know he likes his theatrics. Oh,
Within
King
the
of Blood
fortress,
now.
I don't think we'd be attempting to hide it.
Can't we just ask the skin scribe for a map?
I
Do
don't
you
know how
have the
willing.
skin
Good
scribe?
ask.
Also, do we have a way of contacting the skin scribe? Do you have his Spellstone number?
I don't know how willing he is going to be with information.
I mean,
Bear in mind,
technically,
he's
I
still
can use
committed.
sending. I have met him, so it's feasible I could.
That's a fair point, just as long as he hasn't been ordered not to talk to us. You know what? I have a feeling I don't really... he'll know where we are anyway. It could work, Sasha. You could ask. But wait, don't you need to be on the same plane of existence for sending? Or is it's just more difficult, isn't it?
It's just more difficult, yes.
There's a chance
this
that it
ca-
will fail. Yeah.
This does count as a
Another
as a
plane.
separate plane of existence. Yeah, thought so. Well, we can do that when we're out of here.
True.
I mean, you say that. Wouldn't it be really great if we were, in the presence of a certain incredibly powerful ruler of a nation, and then the the prince of whatever the fuck came in and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck you up," and then she killed him brutally.
I don't
They
even
couldn't
think
kill
she
him
could...
last time, hence he got sealed away.
Yes, but that was because they didn't have the axe. Now they have the axe. Now we have the axe. So all she needs to do is beat
we
him up,
get
and then you can
her
just be like,
to-
click.
we get her to beat the ever-living fuck out of him, and then Rook comes in and just sort of nicks him with the axe.
Okay, so
This is a terrible idea and will not work. Let's just ignore it and
yeah,
move on.
I think the chances of getting the queen to come along is going to be a
But that's
Yeah.
why I think that's why
Why
when I
don't we
call the
kidnap
skin scribe.
Malcom?
But hey, Malcolm, you can convince your aunt to come join us in this ride. No, probably not.
Considering that she has to, lead the nation, I don't think she can lead.
Well, if the Prince of Blood survives, there won't be a nation to lead.
well. I guess she'd probably want to stay to defend her nation.
Fair point.
But again, there's no point in defending it if it's not going to be here once he, rises up and
Well,
kills everyone.
she will attempt it anyway.
Look, all I'm
okay.
saying is she could roll a nat 1, we could roll a nat 20. I'm just saying we could ask.
Sasha. You're talking in numbers again.
Right. We can be very persuasive, seemingly at random. So, why not give it a try?
I don't think it's a good idea anyway. But what is a good idea is getting spell resources from her and the Empire and anywhere we can without us having to spend the money for them. Because I tell you, one of these scrolls I can summon a Fae, and I want to be able to do that for free.
Fair,
Okay.
fair. What do you need for it?
Oh, that's a very good question there, Sasha. Just excuse me, if you hear tapping in my head, it's nothing, I swear.
It's nothing, I swear.
You're obviously using your abacus to work out exactly how
Of
much
course.
it's going to cost.
Els has pulled up an abacus in front of him. Okay, right. Need something from the original source. Pulls out a book.
Farnsworth comes over with several books and an abacus
Oh,
and just
thank you,
places them down
Farnsworth.
in front of you.
You are, as ever, the most useful person in my life.
Hey!
Hang
you.
on a
Yes.
second.
What? You can get me tea.
And I brought you back from the dead.
Malcolm cooks you dinner.
You're the most useful person in my death. That's true. Malcolm
No,
does cook me dinner.
that was the prince's ex, or whatever the fuck that beholder was. She was very
Side-
useful in your death.
I believe side chick. A gilded
Yes.
flower. A gilded flower. Worth about 300 gold pieces. By about, I mean exactly 300 gold pieces. By exactly, I
Hmm.
mean at least.
A
All right,
gilded
fair.
flower.
It's just a flower that's got gold over it.
Huh.
Can I make that? Is that a thing I can do, Chris?
You can. It will take you quite a bit of time because you need to acquire the gold and the necessary metal to do so.
And the flower!
Melt
Or
down our money.
yeah, or depending on how
Or-
it goes, you'll need to worry about if it does require a live flower, which is then gilded.
It
That would
doesn't
be a
specify.
delicate process.
It doesn't specify. I think that's down to you, Chris. If it's...
Okay, so you could make it. It's certainly possible, and it needs to be worth at least 300 gold.
My
so-
thought is just wrapping it in layers and layers of gold leaf is probably the safest way to do it.
Or we extort a leader of a nation for it. Now,
Yeah.
hear me out, because...
Best of luck with that. You can do that yourself.
No, not Charant. I'm not going to do that, but the Emperor.
I don't know about this. I don't.
Okay, I'm not saying we go in there like, hey, give us this shit, or we're just going to let you all die. What I'm saying is, give us this shit, and we can make sure it doesn't happen, and we can all live happily after, and we can give it back afterwards. Which, by the way, we won't be giving it back afterwards, but that's beside the point.
The issue that I was arising here is more the fact of when are we going to get time between now and potentially fighting the Prince of Blood to organise an audience with the Emperor?
I don't know.
Honestly, I feel like we could just sort of pop in and
we
they
can
just
just
sort of...
teleport in his court.
Yeah, just like
That
while he's
would
in
probably get
fiddling-
us killed.
Bad idea, but I also don't think we need to petition the Emperor directly for this.
No, not that. But I'm fairly certain someone in that within chain of command or whatever can get us the resources we need to do chalk for your spells. I'm sure the rest of us all have spells which can consume things. Hell, some diamonds would be good.
Diamonds would be good.
And not
I've
just
had a long rest since our last fuckery, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Just making sure to make sure I've got all my spells and stuff.
Hmm.
Right.
I mean, we could always start with asking Captain Gavin of the Gate. He might have some idea on how to go.
What we
You're
start
right.
we start with Gavin of the Gate and we move our way up. I like it.
Logic would say probably Davini might be the best person to
No,
start
no.
with.
Yeah,
what
I
we
was just
start- no,
thinking.
we start with Gavin, and then we end up with a person that can get us what we want, but with the least power to do anything against us if we accidentally insult them on purpose.
Huh. Okay.
In all
So-
seriousness, I reckon we could get most probably the Empire to provide us resources necessary for this fight. Because this is if we don't stop this, it's world-ending event. If not world-ending, being ruled by the edgiest motherfucker any of us have met.
It's pretty close to world ending, yes.
And the Emperor
Still
is
king.
fully aware of the level of this threat. So,
So
Fair.
I'm just saying that we don't have to worry just about ourselves. 1 second. I'm hearing dinner bells in my ears.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry. But what I'm saying is we can get resources from people that have them, and they may be willing to just give them to us. Because they won't be able to pledge They won't be able to pledge anything else to them. To this.
No, that's true.
We've got to use the people that we are vaguely allied with. That's what I'm saying. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
Bern,
Oh, yeah.
while this conversation is going on, go ahead and roll me a history check. You have your luckies today. Because
It's a new day. Yeah, true.
yeah.
Alright, that's a 15.
Okay. As you're kind of sat there listening to all this kind of mention of like extorting the crown for its worth and using all of this, you kind of think and you go, you have some funds as part of the Sanguine Sun, and you know that you were given a bunch to help you complete your endeavor as Vanguard. You know that you have money used for the actions of taking out the city, and after the actions are complete, you'll lose the funding.
Very true.
So,
How much funding did I get again?
when you last checked, you received 25,000 gold worth of tokens, which can be used for material components, basic items, and hiring individuals to do work for you. Doing work and jobs and other stuff like that. So if it's small things that you're after, provided they're not too specific, you can have them made for you, you can have them crafted, you can buy them if they've already been made, you can get potions, you can get what you need. You have a lot of money available to you, after which you will lose the 20,000 you received.
What about a phenomenal amount
If you make
of
me a
explosives?
list of items you need, I can get them made.
With that roll also. You also know that you can receive various other things for gold with that as part of the Vanguard, including blueprints, layouts, cavern systems, maps of the city that have been otherwise charted, general guard routes and patterns, who lives where, that sort of thing. So there's a lot that you can acquire with this, and it will require tokens, but you have a large resource to use that, or to use there.
Okay, so let's make a list and we can send it to...
So essentially, with his money, he could buy some intel.
He can buy a ton of intel, yeah, because with the previous operatives have been into the city, those that have survived have given information, whether it be...
I was planning to ask, like when I mentioned asking the skin scribe, I was like, we could also just ask the guys that attacked the city already.
Yeah,
Fair.
a large portion of them survived, including some of the ones in charge, so...
Yeah.
Okay, well that may be a good place to start, potentially.
So let's make a list of what you guys need, and we'll ask for like a map and layout.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Incense.
Really?
I need more incense.
All the incense.
Isn't that what you've got an abundance of?
Incense,
Maybe?
me daddy.
Go back 2 minutes.
I might have a bit of incense.
You can smell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of it's in the bag of holding, damn it.
Yeah, there's so much of it, we can smell it.
Somewhere in the astral sea, someone just goes by and like, whoa, what's that smell?
Oh, not going near there. Jesus, it's way too potent. Yeesh.
So,
Oh.
Chris, while I'm as well, can I just have the price for Magic Circle?
What level's Magic Circle?
Oh, I will find that and send you a message.
Okay.
Just because that could be useful.
If it's 5th to 6th will be a massive increase in price, but 4th and 5th will be around about 1,000-ish.
Cool.
1,000 to 800.
Magic Circle is a third level abjuration.
Okay, so that will knock that down to about...
Bear in mind that was also what he was discounting.
Yeah, abjuration and conjuration.
Transmutation.
Oh no, transmutation. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. So with that being the case, you'd probably be looking at around about 200 gold.
200 gold?
Yeah, it's the 3rd level.
Cool. Thank you. Just... Thank you.
Fair.
Yeah.
Satisfaction for that.
That's fine.
Okay, so we want a list of stuff that we're going to need. So, intel. Gonna want that. Material things. Does anyone need anything material-wise? I mean, I don't need... Maybe some potions, potentially?
I think stuff that aren't spell components, healing potions are always a good bet. None of us use ranged weaponry particularly, do we?
No.
No, ammunition
Isn't a problem for
Well,
us.
actually, Sasha, what about your dragon hammer?
I've already got 5 of them. I doubt I'd be able to use that up in one fight.
If it goes on for a
though,
minute.
yeah, if it goes on for If it goes, yeah, but usually by the second round, I'm trying to keep you guys alive, or ignoring it entirely. But I usually try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how that's was most of. Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, good times. So, okay. So, healing potions, components for anything. So, can anyone else think of anything else we potentially might need? Since now, found out that Bern has a lot of money.
So intel, healing potions, components. You said
Diamonds, so many diamonds.
that'll come under
That'll come under
components.
components.
Yeah, I'm currently comprising a list, and then we'll go into detail on what things you particularly want after that.
Yeah.
Like what kind of intel, what kind of components.
Any other ideas?
Help from other people.
The thing is, we make our
Again.
party too big, and we're going to become more noticeable.
Oh, I'm aware of that, but
What about a redonkulous number of just a redonkulous number of explosives?
the problem is if we're carrying around a redonkulous amount of explosives on us, then that will
With
be
the plan as
noticed.
it is currently, we aren't looking to do enough setup that we could really make use of them. Unless we're talking about
Just destroy.
explosives
Hey,
that we
can't
could
have a wedding without a
weaponize
church,
in the
right?
moment.
That genuinely my thought was, look, we want to kill one of them because that way we stop the wedding. Theoretically, there's a
Sasha,
what?
are you suggesting that we bomb a wedding?
Yes.
What did I miss?
You're planning to bomb the wedding, apparently.
Okay.
Okay, look.
You should never
Don't
have left.
judge me.
Right.
I
Okay, Harlan, I want you to realise that even Infernal went, okay. Okay?
and I
Even
want you
Infernal
to
thinks it's a bit
realize
far.
that in this hellhole of a universe, this is probably one of the least shady things we've done. Need I remind you of the school shooting?
Don't know what you're on about. Never happened.
And that still haunts me to this day.
Right.
Sasha, we never to speak of that again.
Okay. Alternative.
They're already
Okay,
gonna
look.
be attacking the city.
Alternatively, what if we just, drowned him? Or her? What if we drowned someone?
Okay.
With what?
need
Your
to-
wand of sewage.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Alternatively, I've recently learned there's a spell called Watery Sphere.
Okay.
Okay. There is one thing to note that unless we are going to have to kill the Prince of Blood, we can't just go for his bride to be.
No.
I know, but
Because
if
If we kill bride to be, he goes crazy, sends Skin Skybe after planet.
Yeah, I
Actually,
mean,
keeping the bride to be alive and intact might be a good way of forcing him to stick around.
exactly.
Once the wedding
Ta-
is
Take a hostage.
a no-go.
Kidnapping, take hostage. Possibility. But then again, send Skin Scribe, find wife, kills us.
Yeah, we need to deal with him. We also need to find a way of stop him communicating with the skin scribe. Because if he gives any
Talk
orders to the scribe,
telepathically
I'll
to
fight him.
the scribe.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to stop this, but we need to find a
Well,
way to
he
stop him from
can't.
communicating.
One thing you do know about the skin scribe. Elsyan and anybody else trained in Arcana can go ahead and make me an intelligence check for this.
Cool.
I'm trying to think would anybody else have a experience with
24.
this. 24 and
It's Arcana or just straight intelligence?
if you're trained in Arcana, then Arcana.
That's
21.
14.
Okay. The three of you kind of as you're sat there and it was mentioned the whole like stopping him from communicating with the Prince of Blood. You know that the skin scribe communicates telepathically, as he did with all of you, but you don't know if it would be the same going the other way.
Can the
With-
Prince of
So
Blood
what I'm
communicate
thinking was,
telepathically?
if we teleport him out of there,
Hmm.
The main thing to note, and I will say, Elsyan, what was your total again?
24.
24. Okay. With your general understanding of fiends on the general hierarchy, higher end ones typically have telepathy, so they can use some form of summoning and then control their minions without shouting their orders. This is something that they do have. Given the Prince of Blood's existence, he hasn't strictly shown any forms of telepathy, as you are aware,
But that wouldn't.
but that
No.
doesn't rule it out.
does silence stop telepathy or no?
No.
Silence doesn't. No, it just stops sound.
Silence specifically is sound. I mean, that's why spells get run by it's because you can't do a somatic component with it. You can't make the incantation.
However, one thing that I would say, Elsyan, you're the only one here with that role you would probably potentially understand. Psionics is weird. It interacts
Yep.
with magic the same way that the other magic does. So in theory, an anti-magic sphere might work, but it's just a theory. You don't know how that would apply. If the shout was made, it would go straight through, but if it was said by telepathy, would it cut it off? You don't know. It's something you've never tried before.
Oh, that's.
You do know that it stopped when you went into... actually, I'd say Queglod, you'd be the one to roll me a history check on this one. With that.
So what I'm getting here is if we have the skin scribe wear earplugs
Halfling.
and we put him in a magic, in anti-magic.
History is plus 7, so 23.
23. You remember when you went into the Morbin nest back in Orm's Anchor? When you were going through the tunnel, you had Detect Magic up and you hit a distortion field. Elsyan wasn't able to communicate via telepathy then. Actually, no. Elsyan wasn't with you, so never mind. That wouldn't... No, because he wasn't with you at the time, because you found Sobek there. So never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that anti-magic might stop telepathy. The problem is it's going to stop every other spell as well.
Yes. And here's the other thing. Problem with that: do we have any way to cast it? Does anyone know anti-magic circle?
No.
Well, I know anti-magic sphere, or whatever the
Sphere,
fuck it's called.
That's the thing that can make an area of anti-magic.
Anti-magic field, yes.
That's the one. Because I don't, and it's not one of the spells that I got from Oathbone.
It is,
I regret
however,
it.
in an area around you.
Is it specifically around you?
Yes. Cast
Oh.
itself. 10 foot
Ah,
radius.
We could potentially put it into an item.
An
but that would
item
take
of
time and
an item of that level would be legendary quality. It would take at least a year to enchant.
Yeah, what level is anti-magic field?
8th.
8.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we can't just go, hey, ring of spell storing, let's go.
So if someone were to cast this, which is probably only Sasha and Elsyan,
I think it's
And I
only
don't-
Sasha.
I don't know the
it's a
spell.
wizard spell as well.
It is,
Yeah,
but he
But
doesn't
again,
know
as
it.
I say, I
Here's
don't
the-
think...
Here's the thing, I don't get as many spells as Sasha does to
I
pick
see.
from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a lot of scrolls here to go through. It might be in there, I don't know.
But once again, I don't think that anti-magic sphere is an excellent option anyway, given how reliant so many of us are on spells.
I mean, it
think
would be a pretty good way to just have a melee between Rook and Princey, because it would just sort of, quite frankly, it would even things up quite a bit, because he wouldn't have his bastard magical defense system. He wouldn't have his bastard magical flight, because I guarantee you that's magical, because those wings are not large enough to carry him.
Right, I'm gonna let you know, I also... one spell I do know that I've got here is Earthbind. I can stop him from flying using that. I can tie him down to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I can't remember if it's concentration or not.
I genuinely don't know.
It is.
Just to make
Soft
sure you're
action.
not overlooking this, anti-magic field would also stop Rook's axe from working.
Mm.
Which means that he wouldn't get any of his
Stop
plus
bugger.
bonus, and it would mean that he immediately unattunes to the. He doesn't have attunement effect to the axe, which means that he wouldn't be able to kill the Prince of Blood outright, because it would become mundane. And the problem with that is, as again, Elsyan, you'd understand this sort of thing. Certain creatures are
Yeah.
immune to non-magical damage.
Yep. Yep. Doesn't surprise me. So we can't. So we are going to have to do this. We have to get the skin scribe away from there. Somehow.
I feel casting a spell against the skin scribe is going to be challenging.
That's
Well,
why
we
I.
One thought does occur.
Mhm.
We established that the Prince of Blood would never willingly leave his fortress.
Mhm.
He would just send the skin scribe out.
Yes. What are you getting at?
Would it be possible to set up some sort of diversion well away from the fortress?
We do
Use that to
know that.
draw the skin scribe.
It depends on the Prince of Blood's psychology, though. If he's expecting a trap, he may simply ignore it and
Okay, well, he has the blind butcher with him.
skin scribe.
The blind butcher, I would, if I was the Prince of Blood, I would imagine the blind butcher will do just fine for protecting me from any crap, given that he can't die.
Perhaps then, as long as the bait is good enough.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I
But
mean,
that does raise another question.
dealing
We
with
only need to incapacitate the blind butcher, but that's still not going to be easy.
No, it took me with all hits.
Look, I've
and
told you
an action
people,
surge.
watery sphere sounds like a really great spell right now. It literally
Run us through the
drowns
details?
people, okay? Okay, so it's a sorcerer spell, so not my shtick, but if we could get a hold of like an item or something.
Yeah, so Bern can't learn it yet because he needs to level up.
Literally, it just drowns people.
Wizards
That's
can
it.
learn it. I
That's the
like
whole
I like
spell.
how that Elsyan's got like a book that just shows all spells wizards can learn. It just goes, hey, wizards can learn it as well. Ah, fuck.
If we do get the blind butcher down, I could keep hitting him every 2 turns and having him stay down.
Oh yeah, you
Okay.
have your weapon, didn't you? Forgot about that.
Yes.
I personally think that's our best bet.
You guys also need to keep in mind the Sanguine Sons are also going to be attacking the city to make a diversion.
They're attacking the city at the same time. Okay, I clearly forgot that.
That's what I asked. The first thing I asked is if they can make a diversion, and they said just give us the go, and then they'll attack.
Yeah, they are currently on standby as it currently stands. They're currently seeding spies and anything similar. They are preparing for the coming days on any notice from now, and then they'll strike.
Bernard, I suppose you know how they're getting into the city, do you?
That's what we're gonna ask
Cool.
with the
Cool.
information that I need to buy.
Cool.
So did you make a list of what you need me to tell them to get?
I'm making the list. I was going to ask the specifics once you got back.
Yeah.
Just in case you had anything
Okay.
to add. So they've got
Yeah,
intel,
let's-
healing potions, and components as the 3 things they might need. Of that, you can.
How many of you have necrotic resistance and?
I don't.
I do not.
I don't think
do.
I. Oh, I might. Hang on, give me a second.
I think I had 1 or 2.
I mean, we're dealing with fiends here, so.
I have 1 necrotic resistance for myself.
Well, I
Oh,
know
I
the
should
standard
probably
damage types the
mention-
fiends have.
I should probably mention this. I can learn a spell called Earthquake.
Not bad shout. Oh, I know protection from good and evil. It only works on 1 target, so it's going to be on me. But never mind.
Okay.
Right.
Or
Can I
whoever's
just read
really in the middle of it. Please go ahead.
Keep in mind you won't be able to
You
precast
create a
that with seeming
seismic
up.
disturbance at a point on the ground that you can
I
see
know.
within range. For the duration, an intense tremor rips through the ground in a 100-foot radius circle centered on that point and shakes creatures and structures in contact with the ground in that area. The area becomes difficult terrain. Each creature on the ground that is concentrating must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature's concentration is broken. When you spell and at the end of each turn you spend concentrating on it, each creature on the ground in the area must make a Dex saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is knocked prone. The spell can have additional effect depending on the terrain in the area as determined by the DM. Fissures. Fissures open throughout the spell's area at the start of your next turn after you cast the spell. A total of up to 6 such fissures open in locations chosen by the
Love it.
god. Each is up to 10 times 10 feet deep, 10 feet wide, and extends from one edge of the spell's area to the opposite side. A creature standing on a spot where a fissure opens must succeed on a dexterous save for themselves, or they'll run the risk of falling in. Are you okay? Look, I'm just going to stop doing this in character voice because it is dangerously difficult to try and explain away this shit.
Fair.
Yes.
Basically,
but anyway,
it can cause a lot of
Earthquake is
structural
good.
damage. It does a bunch of extra stuff. The main thing to note is that the city is underground, so depending on how this goes, you could cause a
Oh,
cataclysmic cave-in.
We could destroy the city.
You could also end up destroying yourselves in the process, because depending on what happens, if enough damage is done, you guys could get knocked out by, collapsing structures doing
What
50
I'm
points of
hearing
bludgeoning
here is
damage and burying
a
you.
phenomenal self-destruct button.
What I'm hearing here is oh boy.
Also, a fissure that opens beneath the structure causes it to automatically collapse. Structures. The tremor deals 50 bludgeoning damage to any structure in contact with the ground in the area when you cast a spell, and at the start of each of your turns until the spell ends. If the structure is nearby creatures. Creature within half the distance of a structure's height must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 5d6 bludgeoning damage and is not permanently buried in the rubble, requiring DC athletics check as an action to escape. The DM can adjust the DC higher or lower depending on the nature of the rubble. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and doesn't fall permanently buried. Druids and sorcerers can also learn this spell.
Oh,
All
perfect.
I'm hearing here is a terrible idea.
What I'm hearing here is an idea that if someone say knew a seemingly smaller version of Earthquake, it could work very well without killing us all. Right.
Ethereal incineration.
I mean, I was more thinking erupting earth could be used to bring down a building. Is that feasible, Chris? That I could use
It would be doing just
Erupting
structural
earth,
damage to the structure, if that would be the intention, and then I just need to see
That'd be
how
the
much
intention, yeah.
health the structure would have. Larger and more well-built structures would have higher health, less well-built structures would have lower health.
Yeah, fair enough. So erupting earth probably wouldn't do all that much to it. It's only 3d12 damage.
Could potentially do a lot. Keep in mind that Earthquake does 50 damage to a structure, and that's
Yeah, this one doesn't-
flat
this
50,
one
and
doesn't
it's
do
an
it.
8th level spell.
Yeah,
This
this
can
one doesn't do any.
Yeah,
can do
but the
both.
damage
However,
would be
if I
directed
get
to
a
the
fissure,
structure.
I can just instant destroy something.
But okay, so we can bring down the building, but I don't think we need to.
Depends how
I'm
big the
just very
building
much
is.
thinking of it as a, if we're all fucked and this is the only option,
Yeah.
I'd like to have it paired as like a, fuck you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. As a big, okay, we're all fucked. Sasha's the only one left alive, and oh no, ruin the wedding. If we haven't done that already.
God. Jeez. Okay, so we've got that. Hang on.
Any other questions, Rook?
Where's that? Oh, so we're probably going to need to find this out or get some idea about how we plan on dealing with the attendees. Like, if we're going to end up in there, look, in regards to the method of attack. So when we get in there, are we all going to bound on the Prince of Blood, or are we going to designate, like we were talking about sending some to deal with the Skin Scribe, stuff like that. We know he's probably going to have his general with him at that point. I mean, Gets that with being
Big
king.
ass pit fiend.
Yeah.
Well, what?
We've got the blind butcher as well. I mean, the last thing we want is all of us clumped together, fighting close combat like that.
When we get there, we scatter throughout the building. We
Okay.
don't move as a group. I actually know a spell that could help us as long as they don't have ways of detecting it. Oh fuck! Ways of detecting it. Telepathic bond. You know how I used to be able to do telepathy. This will allow me to do it again and properly this time.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
I know. We'll be able to talk in heads now.
I'm not sure if I want Elsyan in my head all the time.
Oh, I won't be in your head all the
this is
time.
great.
Just for the spell.
We can sext whilst everyone's in the room.
Sasha, no.
God.
That's notwithstanding. I mean,
That's-
it is risky if they are able to detect it. But
Yes, sexting in. Sasha, I won't be able to get in the mood with the Prince of Blood and the Blind Butcher and the Skin Scribe. I just won't be able to do it. I won't be able to perform.
You say that is danger is seen as a very powerful aphrodisiac.
Okay, that's a problem we are going to discuss later.
How easy is it to
I think that
detect?
Detect magic will probably do it.
Oh.
Same could be said for seeming, though.
True. And luckily, telepathic bond isn't concentration either.
No, it's just an hour.
And it just straight up lasts for an hour. And as long as we've all got an intelligence on a scale of 1 to 20, got a 2 in our brain number. I'm gonna stop. I don't even know. In our intelligence, we'll be able to work on us. So we can do that, and up to 8 willing creatures as well. So it could be us. What? 7? 6. 6. 6. 6. And 2 others. I don't know who those 2 others could be. The Skin Scribe, but have to be willing.
The thing is, I'm concerned about.
Maybe?
And within 30 feet.
Maybe. The concern is that we don't want to give too much intel to the Skin Scribe, because if an order gets given out, then we are
fucked.
Yeah, like
Super fucked.
So is the Skin Scribe considered hostile to us?
The Skin Scribe's
No,
relation...
but he can be at any time.
Yeah, from what you understand, your relationship with... or his relationship with the Prince of Blood is that he doesn't like the Prince of Blood, but he has to oblige to following orders.
Do we know if that's a magical
So
obligement or just his own code of honor thing?
From
magic.
I'd say go ahead and roll me an Arcana check or a Religion check. I'd say Elsyan probably be the only one who could do this, given his understanding of it all.
I'm pretty sure he said though, didn't he? When we were all
Yeah,
talking,
he said
it was part of his
He
pact.
basically said he was
He said it was
contracted
part
with
of his
them.
pact, which is a contract, but that doesn't necessarily define whether it's going to be magical domination, so for example,
He said it was
monster
sort of his
spell,
name, which
or
makes me
whether
think-
it's something to do with, specifically to do... He said he could erase the name of his other generals, but it's not necessarily the same as his pact. So the Pit Fiend, for example, doesn't
I rolled a
have
natural
name.
one.
Yeah.
I had that one, so
from what you can,
we can either way. We can presume it's magical of some nature, because the Skin Scribe doesn't want to be involved with someone. Then he won't be. He's got to be against his own will. Otherwise, he just wouldn't.
Okay, so the thing I was planning is like when we're about to actually attack, if we're next to them, I could just go up to the Skin Scribe and teleport us away. And that's what I'm asking, if he would willingly teleport himself back. Or can the Prince of Blood just contact him and order him to do that?
I think the Prince of Blood can just contact him and order it.
I also think that losing you in a fight could prove bad anyway.
To answer
Banishment comes to mind. Sorry.
To answer your question, Bern, it could go either way. If he's been ordered to stay by the Prince of Blood's side, there's no chance of that happening because he wouldn't disobey his order. If his order, however, was to guard the perimeter, then he also wouldn't be able to. Unless he was told, you handle this, or something of a vague enough nature that he would be of the free will to teleport, there wouldn't be a problem. But
I mean,
something to note, and Elsyan, given you have telepathic bond, if it is telepathy, if it isn't limited by range, he could just tell him to come back immediately.
That's what I'm scared of.
Because telepathic bond can work over any distance.
Telepathic bond, does it work over any distance?
Mm-hmm. It states later on, until the spell ends, you can communicate telepathically through the bond, whether or not they have a common language. Communication is possible over any distance.
Any
though
distance,
it can't
yeah,
extend
I'm
to
saying
other
that,
planes of
yeah.
existence.
Banish could work and break that.
Could.
He's just gonna counterspell, isn't he?
Well, the
Depends
skin
on
Not
scrub
if he
smart
goes
enough to know what's
semi-willingly.
going on, and he knows that getting the Prince of Blood, not the Prince of Blood, the skin scribe out of the fight, as I think is priority number 1. Priority number 2 is keeping the Blind Butcher down, getting him down and keeping him down. Then it's the Prince of Blood. That's
Well,
my thoughts.
We're gonna have to make sure the Prince of Blood just doesn't yeet himself out of there with his bride.
Yeah, fair
Otherwise,
point.
it renders the entire thing obsolete.
We banish the bride as well.
We may not. Do we know 2 people that know Banish?
Casting at a higher levels targets multiple creatures,
Yes.
Then
but that's relying on both people failing their save.
Yeah.
Willing or
it
not.
is.
Yeah. It also depends on the order again, because if has a vague order, he could just choose not to fail or choose to fail the save on the.
But if he's told
Right.
step aside or
Yeah.
keep her, if we get lucky and it's something like keep her safe, then that would work in our favor if we yeet her away. But that's then again reliant on us knowing the orders, which we just won't know. I don't think we can operate under any assumption that we know.
And also, potentially, her being there is the only reason why the Prince of Blood would stick round.
Yeah.
So, it's a very difficult situation, and this is kind of what I've been mulling over and be like, well, how are we going to deal with this? We need to sort of work out priorities, because as soon as we're in there, we're not going to have much time to go, oh, okay, well, we've got to deal with this, because we're probably going to get wailed on by a Blind Butcher, a General, Prince of Blood. I mean, we don't even know what the Empress is capable of. We don't know what the King of Blood, now that he is, like, his new abilities.
I mean, didn't what?
I don't think the Empress is that strong, right?
I don't know. I mean,
Roll me an intelligence check with advantage given your faction agent history.
Oh. Oh.
Wow.
You have lucky. So this will replace your highest number. So
nice.
This is a
history check.
Or
Or no, yeah, intelligence check.
Religion or
Either
history?
way, intelligence. Sorry. Your understanding of Taratan Queens is that in terms of hierarchy of control, Taratan Queen sits at the top, followed by her priestess, which is usually her sister, who is currently dead, and then her inquisitors, which will be numbered anywhere from 4 to 10, and they will then control the masses of the drones. The royal guards, which there are usually 4 of, lie in that same drone category, but they are a lot stronger. The Empress is stronger than the Inquisitors, but the Royal Guards are as strong as her. So, from what you understand about Royal Guards in general, just to put a general area on it, they're around CR 10. They're not pushovers. They're durable, they can take hits, and they have the ability to protect as their main thing. Their offensive abilities are limited, but their abilities to soak damage and otherwise avoid her taking damage are a possibility. And we're not talking about the Royal Guards that were made from the Prince of Blood and her. We're talking about the ones from before, when she was but a hatchling. Her Royal Guards that have existed since then.
So
and she's also physically strong.
She's physically strong. Well, correction. She's not physically strong. She's magically strong. Most female Taratan are strong in the method of magical craft, hence the priestess and everything else. Inquisitors are a half-half, and then Royal Guards and Drones are full martial.
Okay, so basically we want to get in, kill him as fast as possible, because this is going to turn into an absolute slaughterfest potentially.
Also, is your mic up?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay, so all right. So we kind of want to get out, because I don't know. I mean, if she's got 4 Royal Guard, plus, I mean, how many Inquisitors, Bern? Do you know how many Inquisitors she'd have?
How much did Chris just say?
4 to 10, depending on
4
the
to
size
10.
of depending on the size of the colony, and you know that 2 were previously killed in the previous incursion, so anywhere between 2 and 8 Inquisitors. The
Okay,
main
so-
thing to note is that they will be controlling the masses. They will not be by her side.
Yeah, they won't be there. But the Royal Guard are, right?
The Royal Guard never leave her side.
Plus, we don't know. Well, we'll have the Prince of Blood's Guard, plus Blind Butcher, plus any other people. We don't know who else are going to be at this wedding. I mean, his offspring could even be there.
I think his offspring are gonna be taking care of the attack, though.
We won't. I don't think we'll be need to worry too much about the attendees, other than those that we know of, like his general, him, the Empress, Blind Butcher, maybe some fucking randos, and these Royal Guards.
And
That's a concern. I want to know how strong these randos. quote,
Randos.
will be.
Chris pulls out a random encounter table. Oh, did you look at that? It's Webval again.
Son of a gun.
I'm back.
oh,
God,
look, Rengar is visiting.
Oh,
Oh,
look
no.
at that. It's Draco Lich Webfall. Wonderful.
Oh man,
Or-
just shows up.
or
Whose side
worryingly-
is he on?
Yes. Whose side is he on? No. Oh.
The guy's also gonna be there, right? The Plague Lord, but he's gonna.
Yeah.
Whose side is he gonna be on?
Yours.
Yes.
He is on your side until there is a point where he has. Well, he's on the Prince of Blood side until he can be on your side, from what you understand.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's not going to actively attack you,
So he won't
but he's
try
not
to.
going to attack the Prince of Blood. He's going to
Okay.
abstain from it all.
Yeah. Okay.
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 Because you're disguising yourself as his spawn, so he has to either act shocked or somehow feel. Well, not look like he's on the other
no!
side.
It's my spores. It happens.
God.
Every turn rolls a performance check.
Jeez. So no, that's a few of the options, but no, I kind of want to go in with some degree of preparation.
Prince of Blood, Blind Butcher, General, Empress, Skin Scribe, Royal Guard. That's
Aye.
like basically confirmed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we need to ensure that the skin scribe isn't going to be there.
So Skin Scribe is getting vanished.
At least.
I hope, unless he succeeds.
I mean, that was or counter spells.
You could counterspell the counterspells.
Yes, but
then
could you
it goes on
counterspell the
just a
counterspell of the counterspell?
Huh?
They'll just go on legendary.
Could you
resistance,
count-
that?
I'm not sure I like the plan of just assuming the skin scribe will be there and hoping we're able to banish.
We need to find a way to get him not in the fight. We don't want
we
to
can
do
be
anything that
certain
will.
of.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt him because that will just go badly for us. Don't want to make sure that there's no hostilities towards him.
The question is, what would the Prince of Blood believe to be a reasonable thing that he would want enough to send the skin scribe after, but not dangerous enough that he'd want that, he'd feel
I mean,
more safe.
What
With
if
him with
what if while this wedding's happening, because where the wedding's happening, is it going to be the city? Is this effectively where his fortress is, or does he live away from this city and this just happens to be where they're having the wedding?
The wedding is gonna be in the city for sure.
The sitting. Is that where his fortress is? The Prince of Blood's fortress? I may have missed some things.
It's
that's
something
where the
you
Emperor
don't know
is.
at the moment. You know that
Yeah.
the city itself, somewhere in there is a fortress / a main building, and
Okay.
then the rest of it is from you don't know what's around. From what you've seen of other Terratan, like small outpost nests.
Okay, that's
it's-
all I need to know is that where the Prince of Blood considers his holdings his
Yes.
home.
Yeah, from
Okay.
the scries you've seen from Malcom, you've seen that the majority of what's happened is underground. That might also
sense, yeah.
dictate some things as well, because they were walking through like maybe regular corridors that you might find, ones that individuals could walk through, single file corridors.
It's an Underdark city, so
It's an Underdark city, yeah. There's plenty of stuff to worry about with that. Also, that's kind of just giving me a thought, actually. Earthquake has that much of an effect, but if it summons an actual earthquake or causes further seismic activity, it's not directly below Adamanthia, but it's not far from Mount Volgrim.
oh yeah, that is true. It's located like right
It's
here.
here.
So
Yeah.
so what you're saying is that if we go here, cause an earthquake, it could cause an eruption.
Yes, which would wipe out the Dragon Sanctuary.
Oh God!
And
They're
probably
dragons, they can
cause
fly.
It is a collapsed volcano, so it is very unlikely to do that. But due
but
to the nature
we know
of
from
how it is.
experience. Okay, here's the thing: it would ruin the great vast salamander's home, and then they'll come after us, and we can't kill that thing. We know.
But we're only planning on using that if it's.
Got all goes to shit.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
say that will
Yeah.
probably only occur in the situation that you concentrate on it for the full minute. That it will it will potentially become a full blown earthquake, or if I end up rolling something like a D100 and I roll either super high
Yeah,
or super low.
And quite frankly, we'd probably die before that point anyway.
Maybe depends. If you end up teleporting out of there while still concentrating on earthquake, that could get very dangerous.
Yeah, let's face it, we're not running away
That's
from
the question.
Once this
If I
happens, we're there till
concentrate
death.
if I concentrate on earthquake and then get yeeted out, can I maintain concentration on it?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with
Oh
that.
wow!
Oh my
The
god!
location change on it, though, or no?
No.
Yeah,
The location would stay the same. He could maintain concentration on the spell. The only issue is he doesn't know what's going on, which means that if he holds it and I roll a D100 and a full-blown earthquake goes off, you could cause a cataclysmic event in this area of the world. It could also be they teleport out and you now have no idea where they are. The wedding takes place and he becomes the emperor. Because if they have the ability to teleport, which you've seen the skin scribe be able to do on a whim, they could just teleport out of there the moment that first round begins before any fissures show up.
Well, okay.
Still a pretty good last resort, though. If like
The
just
last
for
resort,
fun
yes.
last more than anything.
Yeah, as a petty last resort, which let's face it, that a lot of this party is about pettiness. And by a lot, I
True.
mean Sasha and Elsyan is a lot about pettiness. I think it would work.
I would say let's not put too much more thought into earthquake and the applications thereof. Feel free to bring it along as a last resort if you want to, Sasha, but I don't think it needs to factor into the plan in any way.
Completely fair. Look. It's just like I've got Foe Slayer, but we've already established that is shit in terms of actually getting shit done. So I'm just like,
I do have an ability that will frazzle their brain.
I like frazzling their brain.
I think I figured out the proper name for it. Elsyan's brain frazzle.
Brain frazzle.
All right, go ahead. Rename that. I'll rename it in my document.
Right. I need to pop blue guys from back shortly.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so the problem I'm seeing right now is we're getting outnumbered.
We're getting outnumbered and outmatched as well. It would be outnumbered is fine if we're just dealing with random.
Well, the thing is, outnumbered just means that it's going to be way more difficult for us to get our spells off. So if we can have some way of distracting the Royal Guard so they don't be on us.
I don't think we can get the Royal Guard away from the Empress, But
And getting the Empress away from the Prince of Blood is
with that.
difficult. Because keeping her safe is his first priority.
you know what? There's a notebook page. Let's go. Oh right, yeah, that's the birthdays. Who do we know that we're gonna have to deal with? Prince of Blood, Blind Butcher,
Empress General.
Empress General. Okay.
Skin Scribe. We need to find a way to deal with him, but we know we've got to deal with him.
We got to deal with them. Because there's an it's Emporous, isn't it? Skin Scribe. So Prince of Blood. PR Ice of Blood. Nope. Hi, I'm PR Ice. No.
Hey, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
How much money is it to hire Boudreaux?
Which one's Boudreaux? Is he the...
He's
he's the one in charge. You know that he, to a certain degree, does get involved in the attacks.
I know he's literally gonna be leading the attack on the city.
Yeah.
Or one of them.
What? Okay.
Can we hire someone else?
You know that of the leaders, like, one or more of them will get involved in these sorts of attacks. If this is your final attempt, most of them will get involved. They'll be leading charges on their own, doing their own stuff. You know of a few of them. Out of them, they aren't really hireable, and they won't necessarily go with you. Because if you fail, they need to be able to go back, because they're less expendable. As cruel as that is, you're a vanguard, they're the leaders of the organization.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so we've got Prince of Blood, Blind Butcher, Empress, General, Skin Scribe, the Royal Guard we're going to have to deal with if we're dealing with the Empress.
I will say, roll me an intelligence check here, Bern. I'll say with advantage given your faction agent side of things.
14. Oh, wait,
14.
which one? Which kind of?
Intelligence.
I just trained it. Oh yeah, 14.
Okay. As you begin to kind of like think this over, like who could help, who could get involved, you know that some of the members in this setup, for example, Gord, for example, is one of the Gord or Bozo. Both of those are very capable individuals. Gord makes alchemical potions, which are relatively useful. Bozo, over the course of 6 months, makes slimes. So he might have some spare hireable slimes to use as fodder in combat. You won't be able to transport them in your body because you've already got 2. But you know that you could potentially hire those. You also know that there are other members as well, other powerful members who might be able to be hireable. And as you kind of think, one kind of like, it pings in your head. It'd be worth asking, but it's not necessarily something you would have thought of. Gree. Where Abod can't leave as much because he's a bit more centralized in Adamanthia, Gree isn't. Gree's there because Abod's there and because you're there.
He's also Gree's a Tower Town.
Gree's a Tower Town, yeah. So he'd be able to infiltrate them fairly easily because he's one of them. This would make him susceptible to the Empress to a degree, but outside of that, he could potentially be an extremely strong asset.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
You remember from what you remember, he has some form of mix between rogue and warlock-like powers.
Could be useful.
So he's no pushover.
Yeah, they were pretty strong. They got like #1 in the arena, right?
Yeah, they took out several of the individuals in the arena, like him and 13. 13 is notably the stronger one out of the two of them, but Gree isn't a pushover either.
Yeah, 13 inside, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great shout. We could ask Gree to join.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, any help will work.
We could
Oh,
just
so
bring
haven't-
the Abbott gang.
Well, we can't
Abbott
have
can't
Apple.
leave. Yeah.
Abbott can't leave, but
Just
I wonder
imagine
if
if we all
Rohal
die and
has
just leave
anything
Apple on
available.
his own.
Yeah, we could ask Rohal, but it'd be dangerous.
I mean, still, I d- anything we do here is going to be dangerous. I think we can at least ask.
Depends on how many stoppers you want to pull. Right now, you're dealing with
All
a
of them.
threat that could potentially end the Empire. At this
We
point,
need
I
to
think
pull out all the
getting
stops.
getting people involved isn't necessarily a bad idea, and you know that the Phoenix is allied to the Sanguine Sun as a result of your bringing Gree into the fold.
I think here's the thing: if we go to Rohal and she doesn't want to join us in the fight, she can still give us ideas. Be able to be like, okay, what if it with my sneaky Phoenix brain went, hey, what if we did this? And yes, that is not at all how Rohal would phrase that, going sneaky Phoenix brain, but still.
so
Even if
after
she
we've
doesn't want to fight directly, she may have
Ideas and all that.
Ideas.
of specialists that
Yeah,
might be able to do certain things.
maybe able to like lay traps out the city to slow down like response to the attack. Therefore, attack gets worse and more pressing, so stronger people have to be sent to go deal with it.
I mean, this might be a bit out of date, but like we've got that. What's the name of the dragon guy with the cool armor? The one who fought Behold in an arm wrestle.
Red up, yeah.
No.
He fights dragons for a living.
He's also
But
MIA.
he's nowhere to be seen.
He's
He's
also
been MIA for like months now.
He's been MIA since before the winter.
Yeah,
He's been gone for
I mean-
almost 3 to 4 months now.
I could try and contact Aleuir, see what he's doing. But then again, he's probably struggling a fight against the Alliance.
Yeah, I think.
He's got other things on his mind that are equally as pressing.
I can't imagine the Empire has many troops to spare for this matter. They may have resources, but not soldiers.
Yes, I think that's.
I don't imagine that Black Hole is likely to want to get involved either, although I can try and get in touch.
It's worth a shout. This is so okay. We need to all agree that this is one of the most pressing things we're going to deal with. It's so pressing. I'm even thinking of. Don't want to say it. Elsyan stands up and just for a moment picks up a plate and just throws it against the wall.
Farnsworth
Ask
catches
my
it.
Mother for help.
Farnsworth catches it. Please don't throw the crockery, sir. Walks over and places it down. I don't think your mother would want to get involved, nor the Elven Kingdoms as a whole. They're
I'm
too
sorry.
far away from this to get involved. If ultimately you fail at bringing down the King of Blood, I don't think there would necessarily be any problems with him potentially being brought down by others. If he does somehow become invincible by the Emperor, doesn't mean he can't be sealed away later.
Fuck. I was hoping that there'd be world-ending enough to have her just decide. You know
your
what?
mother
I want
can't
to
be
rule living
reasoned with,
people.
sir. I don't think it would be a good idea to ask her for help. You don't want to be
That is-
indebted to someone who you're later trying to kill.
Fair point.
He has a valid point there.
That's a valid point. That is okay, but it's so pressing that I even considered that idea.
Fair. I'll give you that.
But then again, I don't need to tell you that. I'm scared.
I will say, sir, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a notebook. I have been making notes ever since the start of your adventures, and
Is this secret key mine?
I have made a note of some of the people you've met, and someone from the Sanguine Sun has the same surname as Tiark.
Oh.
Who's Tio? What's his last name? Say it.
Tiark Coldwater.
Oh.
Wasn't he one of the people that we met in a big trading area?
Yep.
Or they? Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah. Coldwater is a name that you've heard a few times. There are two individuals. One member of the Sanguine Sun and one is a member here. The one who's a Sanguine Sun is a vampire by the name of Gord Coldwater.
Oh, I have him written down as Gord Waters,
Nice.
Nice.
not Cold Water.
My bad.
Yeah.
Well,
Ice water.
Either way, the two of them are related somehow.
get
If
them
this
both
is,
involved.
one of them would almost certainly be involved in this, and so it might be easier to get the Phoenix involved in this.
I see. Yes. Okay, that's an idea. See? Father is real, and he has good ideas.
Outside of that, the Phoenix also have other allies to call upon. If this is their
That's true.
concern, you might be able to get the rest of them involved, but that's something for later if it comes up.
I think
Yeah.
that we at the very least warn them and tell them what we're doing.
Which could also include the Emerald Sanctuary.
The Emerald Sanctuary is a bit far away for that sort of thing.
It's right there in the Empire. It's like right there.
Not the Emerald Sanctuary.
The Emerald Sanctuary is
No.
over here. If the problem is over here, that's too far away for that sort of thing.
That is quite a distance.
Yeah.
But also the Emerald Sanctuary can go fuck itself. I lost many friends in the Emerald Sanctuary, I'll have you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
On
Friend.
purpose.
They died, and I just reclaimed the money that I spent on them because they were obviously poor bodyguards. I got my required refund.
It's like a no-win, no-fee sort of situation there.
Exactly. Like, just imagine we're a mercenary band. If you're with the mercenaries and they don't win the fight, you can loot their bodies. You might even make a profit out of it.
Objectively, their job was to keep you alive, so they kind of did.
Yeah, credit's due. They did do their job.
Well, no, I died at some point, so there.
Oh, that was their fault.
Oh, wow.
You were alive to protect him.
Oh, you just imagine.
Yes. I'll have you know that I didn't kill them. They died of... I don't want to talk about it.
We could try and ask the Dragon Knights, because it's saying like, hey, we killed the
Webfall.
murder dragon. You kind of owe us a favor. Do you want to help us kill this world-ending evil?
Will they be able to get a dragon in?
Taking the Dragon Knights to the Underdark is kind of a stretch, I think.
I tried.
I would imagine speaking to the Dragon Sanctuary would have the same problem.
I think we need to talk to the Phoenix, and any hours we can get through them.
So, we would teleport
What
back
about the
to
Dwarven Kingdoms?
What about what?
The Dwarven Kingdoms, do they have anything to spare?
I mean, they'll know fighting underground.
I don't know if they'd be willing to help.
They're closer.
We can ask.
They're closer than the capital is. They're a lot closer than the capital is. They hold the area around in the underground next to Blackhold.
Didn't last time they just tell us to take care of it ourselves?
Well, we
True.
can ask again. We can ask again, and they can be shitty about it. And then our ghosts, when it all goes tits up because we didn't get the help, our ghosts can say, "We told you so."
It may be worth speaking to them at the very least.
Yes,
even if the kingdom as a whole isn't interested in getting involved,
we
then
may get
maybe-
a number of them.
Every
Maybe a
little
number
bit from everywhere would help.
I think this is a case of we ask. If they say no, so be it.
Yeah.
But we ask. I don't think there's going to be a way where we're going to be able to make it that so the Prince of Blood doesn't suspect we're doing something. Because let's face it, he will. You'll expect at least someone is going to try to stop this wedding. We
Harlan,
lost Alan.
Oh, Harlan.
He's having internet problems. But we'll
Prince of
get
Blood got him,
somewhere.
boys. We got him.
Sacrifice
None of that
Harlan, Prince of Blood.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah, I think
So,
we'll use
okay.
that moment just to take a
Honestly,
quick.
Yeah,
if
let's
we
take
get
a-
us through this fucking fight. Sure.
Yeah, I think we'll take a quick 2 or 3 minute break, and we can keep talking when people filter back in.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Because
my
this is-
Sacrifice
internet is
Sasha
crashed.
to extend our time.
I mean, hey, what are we on? Question 3?
I
Yeah,
don't know. I would say. I mean, they seem to have covered
We've,
a lot of it in the
we've
general.
made some plans.
Yeah, how to stop the King of Blood from getting scribe orders, how to deal with the attendees at the wedding. If arriving early, we need to create stories and check out if. Okay, so yeah, you're basically at 0.6 out of 7, so you're nearly there.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Chris needs to
But-
double check his notes because looking through some of them, that last statement I made about Cold Waters, he's got 2 surnames in 2 different areas, so need to double check.
You know
What
what?
about just like weird
For
cousins?
the waters. That's what I
Quick.
have written down.
Chris, you can hand wave it by just saying that, of course, Farnsworth is part of Elsyan's psyche. Therefore, yeah,
It has keen minds. Yep.
if it does turn up, Elsyan doesn't have keen mind, but Farnsworth does.
No, I'm just trying to.
Farnsworth takes notes.
Farnsworth is the keen mind. That tells you never.
Because I have gold waters and then I have gold cold waters. So either I made that change before I told you the information, or I just wrote it down twice and then never went back and changed it.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I
Either way,
think we gave
I'm
it
gonna be
to
right
the-
back. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay,
The rest of you
just 1
should, and then
second.
when I come back, I'm gonna look through my notes and see if I can find it.
Mm.
Right. Won't be long.
Oh.
Those in chat, stick around.
To anyone who remains, I don't think we've properly discussed the drowning sphere.
Harlan,
At least
as
one
much
minute.
as suffocation
I think it's
is
time to
genuinely a
accept-
good way to kill people in this.
I think it's time to accept the fact that we're not gonna destroy the city.
No,
In,
we're
like,
just
one go.
drowning one person.
What? Yeah, sorry, that threw me off.
No, that's fine. Yes. Keep talking. I'm gonna look through my
Who
notes.
are you considering using Watery Sphere against?
Well, I'll be honest. My main thoughts were I don't feel like it's going to work on the Blind Butcher because he's got all the strength on the fucking planet. I was more thinking, what if we just did it on Little Miss Princess Empress of Blood, under the assumption of if she can't talk, that limits her magic a lot, and also if she dies, he can't become the king. He can't become the full. He can't reach his final form.
Here's the thing: we don't want to kill her. We kill her.
If she is,
he goes
if she
insane.
is stuck in there, that will take her guards out of the picture as well.
No,
Because they'll want to
focus
focus everything on getting her out, which means we
They'll
don't have to
focus
fight
everything
them.
on the caster. They
Just to clear something up with the Royal Guards. Royal Guards are better as defensive than they are offensive. They will work on doing
Still.
things such as standing around her, shielding her from spells that would otherwise target her, as well as doing things such as basically applying extra AC or using
Well,
their
yeah.
own hit points to sponge hers. But she herself is a caster. And being of a
Yeah.
relatively strong level means that she's going. You never saw what the priestess could do, The best you saw was you saw her cast Greater Restoration, and she is weaker than her sister, who is the Empress. That sets a bar at the very least on what the lowest you can expect is 5th level. And given that the Empress is a cleric, or not the Empress is a cleric, the Priestess was a cleric. The Empress could be any other kind of caster. So it opens the doors for a lot of possibilities on what her abilities might be.
Yes.
Yeah, so just to clear that up, the Royal Guards will work on protecting her and they will use themselves as shields. It's not another possibility that they'll leave an attack, but that will only be on her orders.
Which she wouldn't be able to give if she would drown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be worth a try.
Just going to check Watery Sphere. Just for the
It
details.
stays in place.
Yeah. No, I'm more wondering with Watery Sphere if it causes them to start drowning. Because a creature can hold its breath for a number of turns equal to its constitution number of minutes equal to its constitution modifier. To a minimum of 1, which means it can hold its breath for the entirety of the duration. Taking damage removes... taking any instances of damage will reduce that by 1, like 1 minute. And casting spells will use up all the air.
I think they're engulfed like entirely in it, so yeah.
Can you repeat the
But I don't know.
saving throw?
It's the...
Okay, so by the looks of it, it does engulf them, so they won't be able to breathe. This means casting spells will then be dangerous for them. They don't directly take any damage from it, which means they aren't suffocating. So they won't become suffocating until they either cast a spell, or until you do enough damage to them they will start suffocating. At which point they'll drop to 0 hit points and start making death saving throws. For creatures, I will have to oblige by that because the essence is that you're trying to suffocate them rather than do damage to them. To kill them.
But most probably she can just hold her breath long enough.
Yeah. You also don't know how strong she is, if she'll be able to get out, and if her guards will take the brunt for her, if any of them will push her out. It's not a bad plan. The only thing is that the essence of drowning will require you to damage her. She's inside water. Fire spells won't work. Otherwise you'll be blowing up the sphere and it will disappear.
What about lightning spells?
Lightning will be just fine. Lightning will mean that they have disadvantage on any saves while on the inside of it. The only problem is there that you're still having to worry about having certain spells comboing in that regard, and that you're assuming that no one at the party knows Dispel Magic, which you know the Prince of Blood can do. You just don't know how much he can do it. So there are people who do know how to do this sort of thing.
Or again, I can just collapse the entire place. I just think that would be funny.
Sure.
But again, with Watery Sphere, the goal is to keep the Empress out of the way, not necessarily to kill her. We actually want to avoid doing that until the Prince of Blood is done.
Yeah.
It's really just a use of action economy to sort of... Okay, first of all, keeps like you say, Royal Guard will probably want to push her out of it, get her out of it, so it keeps them busy. It stops her from casting spells, which is her main thing, and potentially means that the Prince of Blood or his lackeys will be spending their actions on Dispel Magic rather than murdering the fuck out of us.
Yeah. I mean, after that...
Now, not necessarily all of those things will happen, but could do.
True. I mean, after we had that conversation with the skin scribe, so basically he just said that we need to take out the Prince of Blood, but as soon as that's done, his commitment to the Prince of Blood will be gone. We can teleport out of there, and he said he'll take care of the rest.
So are you thinking we get the skin scrub out and then we just bum rush the Prince of Blood?
Well, that's only sort of like reciting what he had said to us, was take out the Prince of Blood, because his commitment to the Prince of Blood would then be gone. and he can. Deal with the
Yeah,
rest.
that's actually not a bad shout at all.
Straight up focus the Prince of Blood.
Straight up focus it. One of us every turn will have to take the unfortunate thing of, oh no, this damage thing I'm dealing isn't dealing any damage to him because he just absorbs it. Bastard. And then the rest of it is just keeping ourselves alive from the other things in the room. I think we may have been overcomplicating our fight plan.
I guess whoever is first can just be the one that takes care of the shield somehow.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind if I was the one that was first, because I've got spells that can still do stuff and hit him.
Nope, I found Tiuk's sister. Nope, it's not Gold. Gold is Waters. He is related to somebody else, which you haven't met yet, because you never went in there. So never mind.
Okay.
But
So
you
I've
do
got
know,
it from-
who Tiuk's sister is. You've met her several times.
Who is
Is
she?
she good in a fight?
She's the entrance maid at the bathhouse you regular at.
Then yes, probably.
Oh,
Probably
God.
bar fight sort of things, but we can... That is such a lower down scale than we were thinking.
How powerful is she? She knows how to call a friend.
Well, she managed to survive
let me-
that one time they tried to burn a bathhouse.
She
Okay,
hid.
okay, actually, wait, here's the thing. Is she a snake lady with big titties?
No, it's the bathhouse,
Oh,
not the
gosh,
not the
for
serpent,
sakes, then.
silken serpent.
Oh, of course, yes, I apologise.
So all we have to do is find a very sexy demon. And she seduced the Prince of Blood.
I don't know how that would go in front of the Empress. You know.
What do
Well, they
Yes,
can
when
sort
the
it out.
Okay,
the Empress kills the Prince of Blood.
I think the
Ah,
prince...
yes. I'm the Mega Empress Jezebel. And he's like, oh, did you say Mega Empress? Oh, let my springus do the doingus. Get out of here, Empress loser.
We're losing our minds doing this, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we're actually going crazy. Okay, so we have a rough idea of vaguely what we want to do, but yeah, after recapping, because I went upstairs and sort of quickly recapped, it was what he said, and the Prince of Blood, the Skin Scribe, turned around and said that basically we take care of him, he's free to then deal with all the rest of the people at the wedding.
That actually gives me a lot more confidence about this fight.
So we just need to
Yeah.
assassinate the Prince of Blood.
Basically.
So that
Essentially,
they
yes.
are- And make sure that the Skin Scribe isn't
We have to-
immediately present.
You've also got to make
We have to-
sure that the killing blow is Rook. If you fail to
Yeah.
let the killing blow be Rook, he doesn't die. And I'm not talking he goes to one
Yeah, but he
hit point. I'm talking he begins to regenerate, and the Skin Scribe remains in his control.
Yeah, but is his regeneration like, oh, he's back up to full health like the Blind
he's-
Butcher, or is it
No,
like...
he
I think his
reforms
regeneration-
in the planes of
His
hell,
fortress. Yeah.
Yeah.
which means that
Right.
oh no, we killed him. He's on 0 hit points, but Rook didn't get the kill. This now means that you've got the problem of he begins to regenerate. Everyone's still under his command.
Okay, so
Uh,
what we've got to be doing is we've got to be keeping track of our damage we're dealing.
Mhm.
And guess how much he has
Mhm.
with health.
Did we ever work out... We fought him a few times now. Have we ever worked out like a rough idea?
You've never gotten him to
How?
0. You know that you've gotten him down by, I think the last time you fought him, you got him down by 140 hit points, and he was looking not the greatest condition. He was definitely bloodied, and he wasn't looking on death's door, but he was getting close. You also know that he's gotten stronger since then. So if his hit points have gone up or changed in some way,
Like,
also
in that case, we've got at
200
least 200 damage before we're even in the danger zone then.
potentially, you don't know.
Yeah. I think
Unless he's
we-
somehow
we-
lost hit points.
Well, he also regains hit points, right? At the
Yeah,
start of his turn.
he has a mild regeneration. Yeah, so not as good as the Blinder Butcher, but he has a mild regeneration. I also say burn something else that you know from the memories you received when you went into the ether and spoke to Vesh. You know that if he is killed without the axe, he will regenerate in his fortress, which is currently sealed off, and he will get back his armies.
Oh, yeah. And all his artifacts.
And all his artifacts. So he will get his magic.
Wait, why hasn't he just killed himself?
Because he can't. That's not how these things work. As a demon and devil, you can't. As a demon and devil, you can't just kill yourself and expect to be regenerated. If you die to yourself, you get demoted, and if you get demoted, you don't regenerate as nearly as quickly.
You get demoted. You become some shit tier fiend. Yeah,
Okay.
Like, killing yourself, I can imagine. Bro, you're full on Aleuir.
Here's the thing: if a pit
This
fiend
is something
dies,
we can work with.
No, here's the thing: if a pit fiend dies to itself, or a demon that is lower than it, it gets demoted and the other one gets promoted. This means that if you guys kill him, that's fine. He has no one to be demoted to. But if he dies to himself, the only lower down is a Aleuir, so he can't kill himself.
Okay. Sam has had a thought, and it's a battle. Asmodeus exists in this world, correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. Does he still have the ruby rod? This is metagaming as fuck, I know. You can just tell me to shut up if you want. Does he still have the ruby rod?
Yes, I think. That's lore I haven't delved into.
Oh no, I know exactly what you're thinking of.
I will say this though, as a general note.
It's a terrible idea. Elsyan wouldn't know it, so I'm going to stop.
What you know of, Asmodeus is also the one who gave the Prince of Blood gave the Blind Butcher his power, and is in a contract with the Prince of Blood. Regardless of what you do, you probably can't touch the Prince of Blood through Asmodeus.
Yeah, I know. Sam knows that. Elsyan wouldn't know anything about that with Asmodeus. You know, of Asmodeus, probably.
It's a name that exists,
Maybe.
but he's got many names and titles.
Fame.
He's got many names and titles.
Okay,
Yeah.
but like what I'm hearing here is all we need to do is slap him to death with a Aleuir, and then he'll be fucked.
Like I said, it's only him who can't defeat himself. Because there
Well,
are
no,
no,
you
there
said-
are
you know,
no.
you
I said
said that if a devil
for a
is beaten
pit
by a-
fiend. Yes, if a pit fiend, for example, but he's not a pit fiend. He is higher than that. The only rank below him is himself. He's the only one who can defeat him and go back as a weaker demon.
Yeah. Also, again, if we think that we can be certain of killing him with a particular melee weapon, we can just use the axe.
Yeah, but if all of us had a Aleuir, you like, Chris, like not 10 minutes ago you said the only thing less than him is a Aleuir, right?
No, I said that the only thing less than him would turn him into a Aleuir. Not that it is the only thing less than him, because you've also got to remember he's a demon, not just a devil, so he doesn't abide by the usual rules that devils follow.
I forgot about that bit.
Yeah, he's a half-breed, so he follows his own rules. So he doesn't follow the whole I've been demoted. It's okay, he has to follow his own, because demons don't regenerate when they die. Not traditionally, anyway. I don't think.
I believe they do.
Yeah, I thought it was just Rakshasans.
No, they don't regenerate. There's just an infinite number of them, I believe.
Whatever they're made out of.
I'll look into that later.
Back
Anyway.
in the abyss. It's why the Blood War's still a thing.
Either way.
Oh god, don't I know too much about this shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, back in a
Either
second,
way,
sorry.
you know that he can't. That if you defeat him without the axe being the one that deals the final blow, he'll be able to go back to. He'll regenerate back in his fortress and get access to his armies again.
Right.
Come back twice as strong. Yeah. Okay. So.
What constitutes as him killing himself?
Something of his own power that he controls.
If we had a way to like reverse one of his attacks onto
No,
himself,
because then that would
that
class
work?
it as it coming from you.
Yeah.
Because you
and
changed the
no
target,
control
you're
of
the
it.
one who influenced it. It would have to be his own thing doing it to himself, but there's nothing he can do that would do damage to him that would be from him. Because he's immune to half of the damage that he deals, so... So there's no way for him
Nice.
to do it.
Okay, so our plan is all of us dump on the Prince of Blood.
Basically, that's all I can think
Yeah.
of.
We have a few ideas for how to keep everyone else in the room busy, which is the most
But the main thing is just fuck him up.
Yeah. The other thing is how do we ensure that the skin scribe isn't in the room at the time?
Yeah. Okay. And
Which is largely, hopefully, going to be dealt with by
The sanguine,
sanguine
Sun. Is it
Sun's
just me who
we just
thinks,
we just
what if
need
we
to
just
be
fuck with the, like the
confident.
flower arrangement, and then the Prince of Blood is just like, "Hey, skin scribe, can you fix that?"
What if? No. We can't. We can't just go in here and just make it a bad wedding.
But what if we could?
The wedding shit is probably all for show. All he cares about is the casting of the ceremony spells, so they get their plus. He's gonna have, so they get their +2 AC, and
Oh,
that's
fuck.
what he cares about. That's
Oh,
secretly
fuck.
what becoming the Empress of Blood is just getting +2 AC for a brief period of time.
What if
might
we just show up and, just give him some flowers? Let him
What
have
would
a
just
good
show up and
wedding.
just be like, yeah, we just show up and just be like, hey, look, I know we've had our differences, but we just wanted to wish you the
Yeah,
best of
bro.
luck in your current relationship. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll sit at the back quietly and just let it happen.
Simon, you were going to say something?
Just that we might be in trouble if he has +2 AC.
Mm.
I mean, ceremonies are very
So it's causing
overpowered
us
stuff.
problems.
Keep in mind that ceremony has to finish for that +2 AC to go in place.
I'm
At which
aware,
point he
I'm-
becomes
Yeah,
the
I
Emperor of
know.
Blood. So
Oh, no.
I think you got more pressing matters than +2 AC.
Here's the thing, that's what he becomes Emperor of Blood Crest, don't you see?
Yeah, then someone casts Shield of Faith on him
When
as
he
well.
says
He
become
learns the shield
invincible,
spell.
He just
Genuine question: what happens if we kill him after he becomes the emperor?
We don't.
You don't know. You don't know. He never made it to that stage before. You have no idea what him becoming the Emperor will do.
all we know is that they were
See-
desperate to stop him from becoming the Emperor, so...
theoretically, that does mean there's an incredibly small possibility that if he becomes emperor, he just instantly dies.
There's also another possibility that if he becomes Emperor, he becomes an omnipotent, omniscient, terrible being that just wants death and destruction for the world, where his where his demonic side takes full power and he just causes chaos everywhere.
Did you just say
There's
where
no-
his Venus?
No,
Venus.
Venus. Fiend, no. I started saying fiend, not Venus, and I didn't mean to say fiend, I meant to say demon.
Now, is that Venus with a PH or an F?
Yes, oh, actually, just give me a second. Sorry, this is related to that very thing. And I've got to get this out now, otherwise I will forget and you will all be saved the pain.
Whoa.
An idea for a name of a character. Frederick Philip Frillington Zmarv the Fifth. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pretentious as fuck name. Wait till you see how it's spelt.
Oh, Sam. Oh, the things you do to me, Sam.
Look at it.
Oh.
Okay,
Look at it.
let it be known this was timestamped at 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 40 seconds. Alright.
Look at it.
Alright,
For
so.
the stream, it is spelt PHREDERYK, because you're an asshole. PFILLIP, because one just wasn't enough.
One to talk.
PHRYLL, another Y, NGTTON, ZMIVE. Obviously, the is the. Although I
You say
do think we
obviously.
probably could have done something there.
I
And
could have
then
done.
fifth, it's
Something
spelled
tells me we've gotten off of
PHYTH.
track.
Just a bit. We'll come back.
A
We are
little bit.
sorry. I'm sorry.
You can never complain about karatekas ever again.
No. I can. I will. Because I haven't made this an actual character yet. Anyway, ignoring that, we're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Solid plan.
I think we have to accept that.
So we've got a rough idea of what we're doing. We're gonna all bundle on here, and we're waiting for intel from Bern in regards to the approach to get there. So probably say for the time being, let's just take a reprieve and wait until we get the intel, and then actually come up with solid stratagem.
Objectively, this guy has like double the fiendliness of any other fiend because he's half demon and half devil, right?
I think I could see where this is going.
What if we just put holy water on everything?
Holy water. Hey, if he's got devil things, we could throw silver at him. Blocker technically does nothing, but still. Oh no. Go through resistances. Still.
Next, you're gonna be using garlic to kill me?
Sasha.
Put this garlic away.
Okay, here's the question. Just because we need to know about each other's weaknesses and stuff to prevent them. Does garlic hurt you in any way?
I've never tried.
Sasha,
Okay.
garlic
Narrative
still work.
declaration. I hand over a raw bulb of garlic.
You don't have a raw bulb of garlic.
Let us have this, Chris.
Hold on, Malcolm, what were you saying?
I was about to ask, since I just got back after getting my food and I heard something about holy water. Can't you just make a water sphere out of holy water?
No, because the water sphere is conjured. And to make holy water, you need to cast the ceremony spell, which takes an hour, so no.
We are not doing a 60-round fight.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. I refuse.
Oh, how to counter their ceremony with a ceremony of our own.
round. Where did that math come from, Sam?
Not
600.
600
round.
You're right, 600. I do apologize.
Also, concentration of water sphere would end before ceremony finishes. But I will say one note. Malcolm, as you are from the Barrenlands and you have been saying you have been making Barrenlands food, there is garlic in the food. It hasn't been affecting Bern at all.
Wait, I've got it. Farnsworth.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir?
I need a bulb of garlic.
You watch as he reaches forward and plucks a bulb of garlic from behind you and places it on the table in front of you.
I love it when you do that. Okay, Bern. Elsyan looks at it like he doesn't quite know what to do. Just very limply just throws it at Bern.
Make an attack roll. Adding your dexterity modifier, please.
I swear it just kills Bern and be like, oh damn, now how we're gonna get there.
22.
Does it hit?
22.
I'll let it hit, sure.
Okay. A bulb of garlic just dunk on your head. Take a point of damage.
Garlic does hurt him.
Okay, so we've established that 4 garlics to the head could kill a person now. Thank you, Chris. You've given us that proof.
Yeah, but we've also established that technically stubbing your toe does 1 point of damage, but it doesn't kill people.
I mean, it will make them unstable, and quite frankly, if anyone threw
I mean,
4 balls of
if you
garlic
were
at my
to
head,
hit your
I would
toe
be
4 times
unstable.
at once, I think you'd
Or
die.
would you be unconscious?
I would have blacked out from anger. That counts.
Bloody hell.
Okay, next time we see each other, Sam.
You're gonna throw garlic at me, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Will that be all, sir?
Yes, it will. Thank you, Farnsworth. Go take the rest of the day off. You've done very good work today.
He just looks at you. Thank you, sir. Disappears.
So,
He's going to have real. He's real. You can just teleport. Wait, no. He can get us into the city.
oh my god.
Actually, no,
So-
teleport only works on one person himself. Anyway,
So on that note, is there anything else we need to discuss, or shall we head back? Malcolm?
I mean, genuinely, I do want to get my hands on some holy water to just be like,
yes.
hey, fuck you.
I
Maybe
mean-
it'll do something, maybe it won't. But
Can't you make holy water?
I can, but it costs money.
Does it?
It'll cost you
Also
money
costs
to
money.
buy.
People can do that for free.
Isn't it like literally it costs me the same amount to make it as it does to buy it?
Read your spells. I don't know.
I mean, it's not even spells though, is it? It's just a thing that
It's a
clerics
feature.
can do.
Yeah, it's just a thing that cleric can do.
Technically, it's the ceremony spell, but yes.
25
I
GP
don't
worth
understand.
of powdered silver, which the spell consumes.
However, yes, I do know what you mean because it's weird. Oh god,
So
How
actually,
many
it costs you
GPs
half
worth
as
of-
much. It costs 25
half
GP.
as much to make it.
It costs 25 GP to make it with the ceremony spell, but it also takes an hour of your time, or it takes 50 GP to buy a vial of holy water.
But you'll need vials and water.
I mean, you'll need that if you're going to bless the water anyway.
Oh yeah.
All right. Fuck it. I've got a fuck ton of platinum. How many vials of it do you want? Can I just get a keg?
Keg of holy water.
Can I just have a keg of holy water?
Wait, keg of holy beer. Can you do it on beer?
I'm trying to figure out if it's a keg, how much I need to worry about volume-wise. How many ceremony spells did you have to cast?
It's a
Well,
buttload.
one thing is, what if I just did one big ceremony spell?
Unfortunately, that's not how the spell works. And
I mean, you say that, but it
Also,
could be.
there are a lot of different sizes of vial. Could I make I
That's-
think I can make the argument that what is a barrel or a keg, but just a very large vial.
you can
Not many
certainly try.
glass.
Yeah.
What if you stick a large barrel into the shape of a vial?
Ah, what if we get what if we just get one giant vial and then I only have to cast
Guys.
it once?
Guys, we're getting off track. This is getting onto the case of the shit realm again.
Fair.
Look,
Okay.
We've all lost our fucking minds. We know this.
I think it's just this conversation that's done it to us as well. I think the realization of what we actually have to deal with and how little we are prepared for it has finally clicked with us.
On the
It's
motion,
true.
on the motion of things to prepare for, you had intel, potions, and components that you needed. I'll need a list of those so I know how much to roughly deduct from Bern's allowance within the Sanguine Sun.
Necrotic resistance for everyone, I guess.
So that you're looking at 6 of those, or you already have resistance, don't you?
I have for myself, but we can have for like if Rohal or
I
Okay.
actually
I'll
do
say
still have a
8 for
necrotic
safety. I'll say 8
potion.
for safety.
yeah, 8.
8 for safety. Components or intel. What do you want to know?
Well,
Layouts.
Get out of the city.
God,
where it's
right.
going to be,
Patterns, I guess.
if we can find out where it's going to be, that would be the main thing. Like-
Secret underground area where there's a Catholic with some gunpowder would be nice.
How to
Or
access?
if there's any nearby
ways to
fault
get in.
lines I could really focus the earthquake on, if that becomes necessary.
You're really sold on this earthquake idea, aren't you?
Really are.
Look, I'm
You
fully-
really want to do it.
The secret,
Fully convinced we're going to
secrets
die.
take the Prince of Blood to 1 HP button somewhere hidden in the castle.
Yes,
nice.
yes, I would like this. Ah, but damn, he stubbed his toe, and therefore he dies and becomes a Lemure or whatever.
For God's sake. So,
Question,
what was I
Chris.
saying? Oh,
No. Components or intel.
How are they getting? Or how are the
Okay,
guys
right.
of Sanguine Sun getting in
Okay.
to the fortress?
So access points. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Diamonds. A lot of diamonds.
Okay. Components.
A
diamonds.
gilded flower worth 300 gold pieces. I
300.
need it. I want a Fae to help us in this fight.
Okay.
Basically, this is Elsyan's shopping list.
Diamonds wise, what are you looking for price wise, and how many?
I feel the main thing we're going to need is Revivify, but like,
Yeah.
I want 1,000 GP just in case I need to use a resurrection on someone.
Okay. So 1,000 GP. the rest. Keep in mind, this is taking away from the allowance that goes to the Vanguard, which means that if you want to spend any of this to bolster the attack, you can do that also.
Oh, sorry, did not realise that.
So if you want
In
to
that
hire,
case, I'm
if you
willing
want
to spend more of my own money on stuff.
We'll
I
just
still
get
want
what
that
we
too.
need for ourselves, and then we can use the rest to bolster the attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
If we,
Because
and we can always add money into
just
it
as
if
a
we
general
need to.
note, if you wanted to include what Bern already had, he has 33,000 gold in tokens for the Sanguine Sun. He can't convert it to gold to use outside, so it can only be used here. Because it's rewards that he's received for things that he's done, and information he's acquired, and anything similar. So...
Nice.
ooh, that's an idea. Now, related. How do people feel about the Soul Cage spell? More specifically, how does Queglod feel about Soul Cage?
Against this fuck?
I'll let Queglod answer if Queglod has a particular opinion on Soul Cage. It's necromancy, it's holding the soul and works for 8 hours.
I need to check the specifics of that spell, but
Yeah,
In
you
general,
effectively
messing
torture
around
a
with
soul for
souls
8
is-
hours.
in general, it's not great. But as a fairly high-ranking servant of the Raven Queen, Queglod has some allowances, as long as the souls end up in the right place.
Well, and
General note.
I can heal from it.
General note that it does specify humanoid.
Oh, does it?
It does. One reaction which you
that's-
take when a humanoid you see within 60 feet of
Oh,
you dies.
that is. I don't.
Trash.
That's trash. No, never mind. That's not worth. That's not worth anything. Ignore that entire question.
Just,
Ugh.
just as a note, actually, because you got me thinking now. If the Prince of Blood dies to Rook's axe, there's no question of him being revived ever, is there?
No, because the axe especially the axe is specially set to the point with the curse in it that it will destroy his soul when he dies. Not Rook's, the Prince of Blood's.
Oh God! Jesus.
Okay, by the way, Chris is saying that because that's what we know. It may destroy your soul, Rook, and therefore, somehow, your wife is going to find your broken soul and put it back together again, just to break it again.
Yeah, here's what happens. He becomes the Emperor of Blood. He gets a reverse Uno card, and all of a sudden things go
No,
poorly.
you.
No.
Reverse Uno spell. Verbal component is no you.
And it's a reaction.
See, that's a number of choices depending on what effect. No, not any effect. Just depending on the power. There's no you, which is of course the entry level effect. Then you've got your mum is the next one, and I know you are, but what am I? Is of course top tier.
Okay. So components: gilded flower and diamonds. Necrotic potions.
Yeah, don't need Soul Cage.
Yeah. I think we said 8, wasn't it? 8 necrotic.
8 necrotic potions. Yeah. You want information on access points, layouts, guard patterns, where the wedding is potentially going to be taking place. Any other components that people might need for this sort of thing?
I'm just checking.
What components
Okay,
do I need?
bit of a weird one here. Chris,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on the symbol spell?
What do you mean? What are my thoughts on it? It's a spell, and you can learn it.
Specifically, when you it says you can inscribe a harmful glyph on a surface or an object or something like that, right? Is there any way to inscribe the symbol on Rook's axe and have it activate when it's inside of him?
If it moves more than 10 feet, if he moves more than 10 feet, the glyph will break. Works the same with glyph of warding as well. To a degree. So if it moves more than 10 feet, it will break regardless of what happens.
Is that true for the one when it's inside a box or something, or is that like?
Yeah, because if you put a glyph on the inside of a box, but the glyph doesn't go off till the box is opened, if you just throw the box 20 feet, the glyph breaks.
I mean, for protection from good and evil, I'll need a bit of holy water, but that's easily sorted.
I'm more than happy to buy a fuck ton of holy water. I'm not bothering to make it myself. I'm not a peasant.
Can I also get one of them gilded flowers?
Elton is rubbing off on you.
You need a gilded flower as well?
Yes, I just realized I
Nothing
can pick
public
Conjure
here.
Fey as
Nothing
well.
public.
Okay, I'll put ×2.
Cool.
Sasha, you had to make it weird, didn't you, Sasha?
Anything else
You
that people
know
need?
it.
Again, I'm just checking. I've got.
No.
Yeah, I'm double checking as well.
Am I putting
Yeah.
holy water on the list of potions?
Yes. I have up to 900 gold that I'm willing to spend on this.
This would
so-
be using the allowance rather than yours, because otherwise you're going to have to make
Okay.
it, because this isn't something that's sold outside of, an organization that
That's
is a
fine.
fanatic zealotry, which like the Sanguine Sun.
Fine, fine, fine,
Give it
fine.
as a Dogecoin.
So how many
Can't
vials do you
spend it
want?
anywhere.
Many.
How many is many? Because many, as far as I can tell, I could just put 3 and I'll be done.
Okay, at least 6.
6 vials of holy
Yeah.
water.
So that's them. We'll check. So that got all the components for them.
Okay.
Ooh, need to double check seeming.
Yeah, double check the key spells that you want to use for this. Make sure they haven't got an MGP cost, because if they have, and in the middle of a fight, you'll cast the spell, but nothing will happen. And then I'll just use up the spell slot. I'm warning you of this now so that you know.
I don't think there's anything that
Anything you need,
else
Queglod?
that I need.
Oh yeah, iron powder or brimstone.
Okay. Any particular
Like-
gold amount, or just in general?
Just put in like 100 GP.
Okay.
Oh, no, don't worry. I hand over my giant lump of brimstone.
Okay.
Yeah.
You look at his 1 foot by 1 foot that's been chipped away slowly but surely by you. There's like 30% of it left. Yeah. Bern's been chipping away at that, and so have you when you've been lighting the fires in the forge over the course of your time there. So
Bastard!
yeah. Well, you're the one who offered it to him originally, and you're like, hey, we can use the ether fire. Bern, light me ether fire. Bern, light me this ether fire so I can do stuff.
Yeah, but
So it's eaten away at
I
him.
him to ask for it when he was using it. Anyway,
He has.
still 7.5 pounds of brimstone.
I'm just going to put 100 GP of iron powder and brimstone because it's easier to carry.
The only spell I need to check for components is shape ray, so I'll do that.
I think I'm good apart from those few. I don't think I've got anything else.
Malcolm?
A lodestone and iron fillings. It doesn't specify the iron fillings.
Lodestone iron filings. If it doesn't say an MGP cost, then it
Filings.
won't. It doesn't consume anything because you've got Lighthouse.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah,
If it's got an
it's
MGP
just
cost.
GP cost.
Yeah.
MGP cost or is consumed. That's when you need to be concerned about it.
Yeah.
Chris,
I'd also like to add some holy water if that's possible.
Okay, I'll just put 10 vials.
Chris, what would it cost to? What would I have to put a ceremony spell into to insta activate it?
To insta activate it? What do you mean?
Like, what would I have to enchant it into for in order to be like, hey, I take this gemstone, I smash it underfoot, boom, we're married, Elsyan.
Wow, the most romantic wedding ever.
I'd say due to the specifications of how the ceremony spell works, somebody else has to be present because you can't marry yourself to someone else. You have to have somebody else do it for you.
But can they put the ceremony into a thing for me?
It's possible with Queglod's token system. that again would cost time and enchanting, and the nature of the ceremony spell, because it takes an hour long to cast, typically I don't allow anything that isn't more than an action to go in there. So probably not, no.
Just let it. Just let it. Just let Elsyan marry the dwarf being.
I mean, you can. It's just you're not going to be able to do it in an action
Mid-combat.
because it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, because with that same logic, you could turn around and say, "I'd like to make an item which is Learman's tiny hut in an action," which you don't have. Even the homestones don't take an action; they take a minute to activate.
Actually, that's a fair point. Because here's the thing, Harlan. If that's a thing that can exist, the Prince of Blood would have done it.
That's true.
Yeah, he'd go, "Okay, 6 seconds, bam, we're married. I don't even need somebody else for this."
Oh God, at the Ring of Vegas weddings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh God, sorry.
Yeah, reducing cast time is not something I will ever allow because it does break
Yeah,
a lot
fair.
of things instantly. So
we're gonna have to get married before this fight. Somewhere proper. In a church.
Hey, this place is proper.
No, not saying here. I'm saying not on the outskirts of a city we're probably about to blow up. Because we're about to die and someone's going to cast Earthquake without consulting the rest of us.
Technically, I've consecrated the forge, so it counts as,
But we need
Holy
another
ground.
priest.
you need a cleric. That's the thing.
We need a cleric that isn't you, Sasha.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't we have another cleric?
No,
Like multiple other clerics?
Nope.
no, you don't have
Oh,
any
that's
clerics.
Sparta.
You have an Azamar, who is otherwise your forge master, and you have 2 members of your healing team, neither of whom specialize particularly in being clerics. They specialize more in healing spells through Mage Initiate.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, so do we have, I don't know, a captain of a ship?
Sasha, I think we need to. There's got to be someone in Adamantia that can marry people, right?
There is. They'll be on a schedule.
Can Rohal do it? I feel like Rohal probably has some sort of...
Rahal isn't a cleric. She's a paladin as a result of your dedication.
Paladin, just a cleric with weaponry.
Chris,
And lower level spells.
would there be any clerics at Blackhold?
Plenty, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got to go to Black Hole to ask for help anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's churches in Adamanthia that you can ask. It just depends, because a lot of people will be on a schedule, and a wedding
We
will
need to
take
get married
time.
tomorrow.
Yeah, because...
Oh, but right now. Priest, are you free? What for? We need to get married. Well, normally that.
Yeah, because regular marriage and being married via a cleric casting the ceremony spell is 2 very different things.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind, that if you want a higher level cleric to cast this, or even just a cleric in general to cast this sort of thing, you're going to need to go to someone who you know has some form of divine power.
No.
The closest you have to that is either the one in Adamanthia that lives in the church there. The Church of Steel has several clerics, however they'd have to probably wait a day to get ceremony prepared. Or Blackhold, for the same sort of thing. So you'd need to give them more than a day's warning. You'd also need to worry about the duration. How long is the duration of ceremony?
The duration is instantaneous, so effects happens instantly, and it
Oh.
lasts for
7 days.
7 days.
Okay, so it would last for 7 days, so you'd need to do it 7 days before you're prepared. Keep in mind, if you've got 3 days before the wedding, depending on what you want to do, that is one thing you can do, but you have to fit it into your plans.
Which
How
means
much would
y'all
it
need
hire
the
a
book
cleric
today.
on standby, ready for a wedding?
It's like, oh, it's happening! It's happening! You marry us. Okay, I'm ready. I've been
Also,
prepared.
Paladin can actually cast ceremony,
Harlan.
so Rahal could do. Sorry.
Yeah, she could. She'd need to swap out a spell by leveling up, which she's not going to do because she's nearing max level.
I mean, they don't have to swap
Paladins
out.
are prepared
Paladins-
fine.
they're prepared.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Paladins are prepared.
I'd also like to state, in character, would you actually get married, though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because if I'd remind you, 2 weeks ago you were dating. You had your first date.
Yeah,
Look, they're
we're
rushing
aware.
in.
I brought Elsyan back from the dead.
We have
You
known
do
each
not
other for a
understand.
very long time.
Like,
Well, not for a very long time.
this has been brewing for a while.
Okay.
This
I just want it
Just-
known that I'm glad
let it happen.
Malcolm's not going this fast.
Yeah.
just let it be known that this will end badly. This is a Romeo and Juliet side of the marriage. That if that marriage went through, Jesus Christ, or if they survived, Jesus Christ, they would have killed each other.
Yeah, like goddamn. I mean, probably.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
with that in
Okay.
mind, with everything else that you've otherwise planned,
We've already got a kid, Chris. You can't like shame
The-
us for our wedding.
He's older than you.
Yeah.
He might be older than you as well, or at least close to it.
either way,
that just-
you otherwise after performing various plannings and what you're going to be doing next and all that sort of thing, you kind of look outside and you see that it's beginning to get dark inside of the tower. You can either rest here, or you can proceed to go outside, rest in your beds, which you otherwise have got booked for you, and then move on to the next day. It's up to you.
Malcolm's out.
Yeah, I'm
I
probably
can
gonna
go
go
now.
rest in our beds.
Okay. You'll rest in your beds, going back to your rooms and proceeding to rest. As this is all going on, Bern. You otherwise lie there in bed, just looking up at the ceiling above. It's a nice ceiling. You can see all kind of the rough edges to it. Before you hear a voice in your head speak to you,
Oh no.
as you recognize Budral Eskar sending you a sending.
Who?
The troops are in position. We are ready on your word to attack. Speak to my daughter for further information. And that's the end of the sentence.
Okay. Assume I can respond.
Yeah.
Understood. Who else is participating? I assume I can ask your daughter. Thank you.
You end the sending there. You receive another
Yes.
sending shortly afterwards. My daughter knows all the details. You can ask her for this information, or anything else that you may be concerned about. Good luck.
You as well. Oh boy.
Okay.
Fuck.
That must be a fun sending to receive.
25 words after. No, you get to choose when you end your sentence. But yeah, you kind of sit there in bed, kind of just looking up. You feel kind of a little bit stressed, but no. You feel confident. Like the memories flowing through you for the previous time. The Queen, Vesh, and one other took the five of them out all at once. It's good to know that all you have to do is take out one, and you already have two of those team on your side. The odds may be against you, but if you can take out your primary target, you know, as previously discussed, you know full well that you have a massive edge. Bringing the Skin Scribe onto your side would mean that all of your problems would disappear.
Yeah.
You know what he's capable of. You've seen him obliterate things, take them out of proportion. You know that he has a lot of powerful magic, and as you're kind of sat there thinking about it, something crosses your mind. As you're kind of sat there thinking, you think to what Malcom did. You think about the Skin Scribe. A lot of the magic they're doing is similar in some way. But Malcolm's not necessarily nearly as powerful.
What Malcolm did? I didn't mean to.
You think, and then you remember when Malcolm sat in the center of the Bastion of Rust after the Blind Butcher had left. The ley line energy that struck through, something that grew in power. And you've seen from your previous memories the Skin Scribe use that magic. You begin to think that this might be a place of research, if you can somehow utilize that energy. It crosses your mind and theories begin going on in your head, theories much like your plane shift and your teleportation theories. Things that took you a long time to work on, but your power is far excelling at an accelerated rate since you've joined this team. You begin to think if there are ways to harness that layer of power, who knows what's possible. And because it's so unknown, it's difficult to tell what might happen and what might occur. But you think on it, you roll over in bed, you kind of concentrate and think. And you relax before drifting off to sleep, if but for a moment. The rest of you come to consciousness the next morning, rested and otherwise relatively well. You eat and you have food. Is there anything you would like to do over the next 4 days before the Orc Marauders attack? Just quick things.
I mean, we need to go back to Adamantia to speak to Gree and Rahal.
Okay.
Go to the Sanguine Sun to get the info.
Would you like me to come with?
I mean, if you don't mind, as you want.
Yeah. I'll come with.
Okay. Anyone else?
I've got spells to learn.
Elsyan will be here for the entire time.
Thing you mentioned, would you have mentioned that in character, Queglod?
Yeah, yes.
Hmm?
Mention what in character, sir? Hello?
Hello?
Mentioning
Mention
what in
what?
character?
Oh, Sasha messaged me about something
Oh,
to do with Hod's father.
Yeah, we don't learn that just yet.
Oh, okay.
When we do learn it, I will bring it up with you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries.
Metagaming? What?
Metagame? Well, I'm trying not to metagame.
No, that's
because
fair.
If I knew that conversation was going to go ahead of time, I would have asked Bern while he was in Adamantia to go get the Behir skull.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that's happening. Yes, so I won't.
I'm very confused. I don't know what conversation is
right now. Hold up.
Okay. Either way,
That's
Over
my
the ne-
skull.
over the next few days, as various things occur, Malcolm, you spend time with the Queen. She otherwise lets you know, or talks to you about various things, teaches you a few things, and otherwise talks to you with the rest of the court. And you get to know them to a degree. Some of them are very pleasant and will actively talk to you over the course of this time. Others are very cold-shouldered towards you. They don't accept you as their new heir just yet.
Can I know which ones these are?
The ones that do like you are the Tazuki clan, Clan of the Moon. And the other one, just because I need to actually bring up this document so I know what the other one's name is. And the you know plenty about Clan of Hoof, given that you otherwise grew up with them. Outside of that, one of the other ones which does get along with you relatively well is the Clan of Fur. That is the druidic lot of tieflings.
Okay.
And she otherwise seems to generally get along with you relatively well. She seems relatively old for her age. She seems to have a slower generation of age, not to the same degree as you, but to a degree. And the only other one which does seem to get on with you is the Goblin clan, with Kuzo, where he just seems to generally enjoy your guys' company.
Okay.
Outside of that, the others are a little bit more cold-shouldered. They don't like you as much. The one who avoids you the most is the Clan of Steel, with the Iron Dragonborn. And the one which keeps the eye on you the most, but doesn't avoid you by any means, is the Lizardfolk clan, or the Slitherian clan, Clan of Valor.
Okay.
It keeps an eye on you at almost every turn and every moment. Whenever he's in the room, he's almost got his eyes fixed on you.
Oh,
Interesting.
Nice.
Daddy Malcolm.
No, stop it.
Just how quick that response was.
It's a natural reflex now.
No, stop. Bad.
Somewhere in the world, Elsyan takes a point of psychic damage. Alright.
Really got to get better at sorting my spell out like this.
Yeah.
Backfire.
You learn a large number of things in her care, and she does very much kind of help you understand the nature of how a city is run to a certain degree, but also how you've got to command with a layer of fear that the people will experience, but that's outweighed by ease of mind. If they don't fear you, they won't follow you for long, but if they are too fearful of you, they won't be productive. She helps you understand that there are layers where you need to show your authority, you need to show your ruthlessness and power, but not too much, because otherwise people will fall out of line and start going against you. She helps you understand this to quite a way, the Barrenland's way of doing things, that you must show by doing rather than by saying. If you say you will do something, then you will do it. Doesn't matter what you say, it will happen. You also, as you learn the various things, learning about each of the other clans to a degree, you know that quite a lot of them are later additions. The Giants were the last real addition from the Barrenlands, and the rest all came from further afield. You learn these things as time goes on. You spend time, and being around Shattercrest as well. Shattercrest enjoys being around you and seems to spend a lot of time thinking and daydreaming, same as you do. You feel the connection is growing there. Elsyan, you spend your time focusing on your own spell and learning spells, writing and reading. You're spending your time in your tower and in Trisha's, just slowly but surely working through your spells and getting them done. Sasha, you spend time with Elsyan and sometimes without, doing your own reading and exploring of the city. With Bern and Queglod otherwise heading... Bern and Rook otherwise heading back to Adamanthia and speaking with the Sanguine Sun. Speaking to Rahal, she seems to be willing to help you to a degree. She'll speak more... She says she'll speak more when you're all around, as she doesn't necessarily have anything at the moment that can assist you, but might be able to either arrange some form of magical item that she has in her power, or potentially send some individuals to aid the assault with the Sanguine Sun, depending on what you'd prefer. But that's for a later time when you're all available.
Yeah.
As you go and speak to Gree, on the other hand, you enter into his chambers. Heading down, you see him there, currently just slowly but surely looking around, kind of keeping himself to himself. He doesn't seem too disturbed as you just wander in, kind of sauntering down the stairs. You make your way into his chamber. As he otherwise sits there, you can see he's otherwise distilling the dragon blood. You watch as it drips in almost these thick globules as they hit the rest of it and ripple into this deeper crimson. You see the heart off to one side, contained in this light blue glass container, which otherwise emanates this thin layer of frost. You see that he otherwise has these series of gemstones placed around the room that emanate this very dull and faint red glow as you enter into his lab. He doesn't seem to have noticed either of you. Despite your lack of stealthiness, Rook, he seems to be very concentrated in his work at the moment.
For once, I managed to sneak in somewhere and no one even noticed.
Wait for a moment where he's not doing something delicate and then knock.
Okay. There's a moment where he kind of stops and you watch as he otherwise passes off this kind of large, thicker vial off to one side, and you watch as this kind of dark tendril reaches out and wraps around it, pulling it away from him. He continues doing so, pulling away at this. Before you watch as he turns and you hear kind of the chittering of his kind of hardened carapace legs across the floor as he wanders over to the other side. He kind of stops, turns his head towards the door.
Hello.
Ah, welcome. It's been some time. Hasn't been long since we last spoke. The blood's not quite ready yet.
I know, we came to talk about a different thing.
I see. Please do come in.
Didn't want to disturb you during your work.
Ooh.
So where the attack on the city is gonna be happening soon.
I see.
It's probably going to be the final one, and wanted to ask you if you'd wanted to join. Any help would be very much appreciated right now.
Can't say I'm the combatant type. I'm skilled, but not necessarily in direct confrontation. Roll me a persuasion check.
Persuasion, okay.
This is a new day, so you have all your luck back. Just as a general note.
Nice.
Thank God for that. Oh,
Hey, this is going to be the same as last time. This will be an 18. Ah,
Hey,
close.
there we go.
Almost the same as earlier.
that is quite a high roll, I will say that. That is a 30.
Okay. You talk to him and he looks at you, kind of...
I mentioned 13 as well.
Yeah. He kind of lightly taps the lower portion of his jaw. And Rook, as you're kind of standing in there, you look around, you don't see where the dark tendril came from. Like, there's nowhere in here that it could be coming from. It's strange. As the
I-
other
I
ways...
It's a
I
room of
probably
spider
comes out of
stuff.
nowhere.
Yeah, it's just a room of spider stuff. Everything is going to be strange.
Yeah. As the otherwise kind of sits there, scratching his chin. I might be able to help. Not me, though.
Oh,
You watch as he kind of slowly glances just around the room in general. Just slowly. You begin to feel almost this strange sensation as you watch as this drip of large kind of dark mass falls from the ceiling. It's probably about the size of a tennis ball. Lands and hits the floor, and you watch as it seeps outwards and evaporates into shadow.
What is going on?
As you watch as from above, slinking down, very much blended flat to the ceiling, you watch as this almost tar-like substance begins to congeal before it falls to the ground before you with this dark emanating smoke off of its shoulders. You watch as it looks up and these red markings from inside of it just band through its form.
Hello?
If you'd be willing, Rook, I'm sure this one would do you much assistance in combat.
oh
Willing
boy.
for what?
You're getting your own.
It would need a carrier, temporarily. I can supply it with you, Bern, but it will take the place of one of your two.
I think
I've
we should be fine.
I've got my rucksack and I've also got a bag of holding.
No. He means in here, and I tap his stomach.
Oh, the same situation as you.
Yes.
Yes.
This isn't gonna kill me, right? I'm not a vampire.
No. Vitala uses more subtle means.
And after this, I'll be relieved of it.
Yes.
don't wanna go
Unless
home
you
and-
want to keep Vitala, but I will not allow that.
I don't exactly want to go home and explain to the wife why I'm oozing. It would be a very difficult situation.
Hmm.
Is this gonna hurt?
Yes. Very much so. Alternatively, he can replace one of Vira or Blood.
I don't mind as long as it's only short term. I don't want this to be a permanent thing. Fine. What do I need to do? Any help we can get at the moment?
You watch as he otherwise moves over and takes your hand and pulls a small knife and cuts your palm. At this moment, a little bit of blood seeps out, and you watch as the tendril reaches over and just lightly places itself on the surface of your skin before you feel this great pulse through you. Your eyes almost glaze over white with pain as Bern, you watch as you've experienced this many times before, and you're more numb to it than others. You watch as Rook doubles over in pain as Vitala burrows into his arm, shooting through the inside of his skin, and you watch as Rook doubles over in pain. Alright, I need to... Right, make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. That's plus 10, 24.
You're a big man. You can take it.
Okay. What did you get?
24.
Okay, you succeed. You take 20 points of necrotic damage. Your max is reduced by that much, and you get that much in temporary hit points. This is not permanent. This is until Vitala leaves you. But keep in mind that once you take 20 points of damage, that's 20 points lost that you will not regain until you take a long rest.
Okay, so that's taken from my maximum.
What's your max at the moment?
213.
So you go down to 193 max, and you have 20 temporary hit points until you otherwise take damage.
Okay, alright, I'll leave it and stay at that.
If you'd failed,
Okay,
that
right.
would have been 40.
Whoa! Jeez. Okay.
You feel the pain, you feel the searing pain through you and your arms as you kind of lift up your hands, you begin to tremble, but you watch as they stabilize almost immediately. The pain dissipates and disappears, and as you kind of look at your hand, you rub where the scar once was and it's gone. And you look around, and it's strange. You blink a few times. It's brighter in here. You see as the gems are otherwise glowing a new colour. You see the area around you almost seems to have this negative colour to it. As you otherwise look around, things are a lot brighter and clearer. You look at Bern and you see inside him Blood and Vira stemmed through his blood system and surrounding whatever organs he may have once had. You see Gree, and you see 3 inside of him. You look around. This is a scary atmosphere for you.
Okay,
As Bern, you look at Rook. His eyes are completely black. There's no white of his eyes, no iris. It is all pupil. It's scary, to be sure.
I think I'm tripping balls. I can see everything. I don't like this. Hang on, one sec. Am I gonna damage this slime if I touch the axe?
You grab the axe. No problems.
I'm good. Okay, thank God. I just imagine picking up the axe and suddenly the slime's not having a great time.
No,
So-
it seems to be fine, which is strange because you would have thought that it would have.
Okay.
Vitala's
Okay,
a
well-
special one.
Yeah?
Unlike traditional slimes, he's fused himself with you.
Oh,
It's temporary. But if there's someone If there's someone in control, he can let them do so. If there's not, he can control them. So if you ever go down in combat, know that you'll keep fighting while he's around.
Okay.
You will no longer fall unconscious if you reach 0 hit points.
That's good.
You're also affected by the True Sight spell and Detect Magic while Vitala is inside of you.
Okay.
How much?
Also noteworthy, once you reach Bloodied, Vitala will leak out of you and you will lose all of these effects. So it is ineffective with these reaching 0 hit points, but it does mean you can't be incapacitated.
Okay, right.
I've done what I can. Vitala will do his own thing once he's outside.
Okay, well...
Outside of that, I'll have the blood ready in the next few days. If you return then, I'm sure I'll be able to get you what you need, Bern. There are some interesting memories in here, I can already tell.
It's good. We can come back in 3 days, I believe.
Fair.
For now, I'll head back to headquarters and see what we need to get done there.
Good luck.
Anything I need to do for you?
Not me, no. Did you collect those fire blossoms I asked you to while you were in Mount Volgrim?
Oh, yes.
We didn't bring them with us.
Well, with us, but we have collected some.
Excellent.
Oh, you did? How many do you have?
specimens. You collected 7, I believe, or Malcom has them.
Yeah, Malcom has the ones he collected. I don't know if anyone else collected.
Of course Malcolm was going to collect some.
I think Queglod took 1 to dissect
Yeah.
for enchanting purposes, and then Malcom took the rest.
Hey.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay.
We'll grab those from Malcolm and bring them.
Excellent.
Slipped my mind.
That's fine. I'll just use them for any potions that may be needed. Fire resistance in the future, should you require it. Anyway, good luck.
Thanks.
And he goes back to working.
Alright. Slimes. Very good.
Also extremely dangerous.
This was not what I was expecting.
Welcome to the club, Rook. Trust me, you'll come to like them.
No, I am not going to get used to this. I am going to kill the Prince of Blood, and then this slime may return home because I don't want to have to explain to my wife why I have a slime inside me. Ever.
Yeah.
In fact, never mention this to my wife either.
They're a big black
Oh,
oozy
bad
thing
Elsyan.
went inside you.
I'm upset Elsyan's not there now.
No one else is there, so no, you won't know about this. One thing that you do know from slimes in general, Bern, that you're the only one who can because you're undead. Anybody else who would have Vira or Blood would die as a result of organ loss. So.
Yeah.
But Vitala fuses with DNA, so it's a very different situation.
Can Vitala equip my axe?
Yeah.
Then, if she's got my DNA. Huh.
But only while she's fused with you. Or he's fused with you, sorry.
He's okay. Well, damn. Okay.
So
to your organization.
I'll make sure when we get to your wife, I tell her a big black oozy thing went inside you.
I will decapitate you there and then. I will not even hesitate.
Oh, don't worry. Me and Queglod are gonna have brunch about this.
you're not there yet, though.
I can
Yes.
sense the disturbance in his ass.
Leave my ass alone.
So,
You hear that, Elsyan? She's thinking about somebody else's ass.
I'm disgusted, I'm not surprised, and we're no longer getting married.
Wow.
Is Elsyan a cock?
Jesus Christ, no!
Is Elsyan simping?
Yes.
So,
Elsyan's a simp, not a cuck. That's a difference.
so, as you otherwise draw the teleportation circle, drawing the chalk on the ground, doing the various incantations for it, you pulse a layer of magic into it, and you watch as it almost peels outwards into this dome as the two of you shoot through. You land your feet once again in that central chamber for the teleportation into the Sanguine Sun. You look up the stairs, the guards otherwise who move in stand there and nod to you. Moment of kind of like, oh, someone's coming, but not a worries. As you head up as Vanguard, you travel up to the main area here, the main library as it stands, and you see, not far from where you currently are, you see, just going to get the notes, right names for this, you see Masika, currently kind of standing in various places, pointing out where books should go. You see a massive stack of books next to her, currently being carried by another vampire. Rook, because you haven't met her, you see looking at where Bern is otherwise looking. You see otherwise a beautiful and relatively elegant, pale humanoid figure. Kind of a slick, dark back hair that's otherwise tied into a ponytail at the back of her head. You see kind of very high cheekbones, very kind of soft yet angular face. She seems to command of authority, set up with a few rings, one in particular across her left ring finger, and is otherwise busy kind of giving commands and telling people what needs to be done, as a other short and otherwise hunched over stockier vampire holds what looks to be a large number of books for her.
There. Start going towards her.
Okay. You begin making your way towards her. You watch as a guard otherwise moves up to stand in the way. You recognize Alabaster as he stands in front, and before he kind of looks down, nods his head. Who's your friend?
He's with me. He's part of the group I'm with.
He takes a step back. Rook, with your newfound and very strange vision, you look around this room, and it is a very abstract glare of white, cream, reds, and yellows in almost this negative energy. You sense a dense magical energy flowing off of this female form before you, and this armored figure that stood in front of you radiates layers of heavy abjuration magic.
I don't even know what abjuration is.
You know from the basis of detect magic, from the base of it, the basic understanding is it's defensive magic. He wears kind of this heavy, darker plate armor, carrying this large greatsword to one side, and he seems a very capable individual. You also note that inside of him there seems to be one slime, and inside of the female figure there are two more slimes.
There's just slimes everywhere. Is this what Queglod has to live with? Like, it's just crazy. There's just stuff everywhere. I don't know what's real and what's not. I'm having an existential crisis right now. I had to sit down.
Be my guest. Alabaster gestures to one of the seats nearby.
Thanks. Just gonna go and sit down and take in the world.
You go and sit down. As Bern, you approach her. She kind of stops, turns, and goes, "Ah, finally get to see you. It's been a long time. What, several hundred years?"
Probably, yeah. It's been very long. I've missed you.
You've grown.
Seems so have you.
That I have. No, not over there. Next one along. So, how can I help? You after anything in particular, or just catching up?
Well, I have a list here that we've made, but finally getting those tokens put to use.
You were stocking up rather a lot. We were wondering about taxing you to get some back. She kind of gives a crude smile, creaks across her face.
I won't be needing them after this too much. You can take them if you want.
They're yours to use. You can give them away if you want. Plenty would put them to potential use. This list has some interesting components on it. I imagine some people are trying to experiment with some of the new magic that has been discovered recently.
What do you mean, new magic?
Gilded flowers.
Ah, that's one of
They come from one of the manuscripts of one of the mages not far from here. The spells have been relatively popular. I wondered if potentially there was something there. If maybe one of your friends had otherwise picked up on this.
He does need it for the spell, yeah. I'd assume, probably. I don't know what the spell is.
No, it's just there's a number of things. We've been recently acquiring them for our own use. Some for my own personal use as well. No. The rest of this should be fine. Diamonds we're a little short on, after we had to use a bunch of them after the previous incursion. But you're in charge of this one, it should be alright. I've heard what's happening. Vials of holy water we can get made. Necrotic resistance we have an abundance of. Intel.
Bourgeois told me you had everything.
I do. I can get you access to this. It'll take some time and it will use up a large portion of your tokens, but it should be doable. Probably say for the layout of the city, that'll be 500. Guard patterns, 200. That's not too bad information for this sort of thing. I'm just trying to dig these things out is going to be the main issue. Where the wedding will take place, that'll be more of guesswork after you've seen the layout of the city. We've got some suspicions, but other than that, not really that much more. And access points, that sort of thing we can get, but I'll need to speak to some of the higher-ups about that sort of thing.
That's fine.
Or
And also,
those involved, not higher-ups.
Yeah. Yes. Also, I want to know who's gonna be involved in the attack and where it's happening.
Well, from what I understand, we'll be looking at around about... Well, I think it's pretty much all of the bastions going to be taking hold in this. My father's called a lot of strings, including some of the other leaders. I know that we'll be dealing with Telleroof getting involved, and he's called on some old favors, and some old friends will be showing up.
I see. That's a great help then.
So they're going all out.
It is potentially
Yes.
the last battle, yeah.
She looks towards you. And you are?
I'm Rook. Just taking a minute. I've just adopted the slime apparently, and now it's a bit weird.
Well, congratulations. And you're still alive as well, which is rare, but interesting.
Yeah. Awesome. As soon as I've killed the Prince of Blood, or King of Blood, or whoever of Blood, it's going back home.
Ah, so this is one of your friends for this sort of thing.
Yes, it's one of Grease. It's lend it to us.
Ah, one of his experiments. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll do you great work then. But I don't believe you've heard of Quella, have you?
Do not believe so, no.
No. She'll be getting involved in the main attack on the city. After the Empress has been removed, she'll be taking her reign of power as queen. Once the Empress is dead, she'll be able to control the armies of Taratan, with a little bit of work, of course.
Let's see. Who is she?
She's the rightful heir to the city.
Uh-huh. I see. So she's royal blood then?
Royal enough, yes. The one that we supported.
Good. At least we don't have to worry about the city after.
No, apparently not.
No, so try to be as careful as you can. We'll be dealing with most of them, but if you can kill the queen quicker, we'll be able to start the conversion quicker.
That's a problem. We need the queen alive before we kill the Prince of Blood.
Then you better be quick. I'm simply asking so we can keep the numbers. If all of them have to be slaughtered before the queen dies and she's the last one, then so be it. As long as the infrastructure lives, there are a large number of items we can acquire from that place. Information and text as well.
That's fine. We just need to burst down the Prince of Blood as fast as we can. After that, she's probably next on the list. I guess 2 of them are gonna be on our side after he's dead. So we don't have to worry about them.
Very well. Well, best of luck to you. And I hope that all goes well, given your assistance. But I'll get you that information. I'll begin gathering it. Are you after it now, or would you prefer to come back for it?
That's fine. When should I come back?
I'd say give it a day. I can work overnight.
That's fine, don't worry. I have 3 days.
Very well.
Before we have to do anything urgent.
Very well. I'll spend some time gathering the information. I'll see if there's anything else that catches my eye, might be interesting to you.
That's fine. Use as many tokens as you need.
Very well.
Alright, thank you. And we'll see you later.
She nods.
Good to meet you.
And good to meet you. You otherwise leave the establishment. Teleporting back to the Barrenlands?
Yeah, I believe nothing much left. They know the plan, we know the plan. Yeah.
Okay. You teleport back to the Barrenlands, and over the next few days, you two kind of relax before heading back, speaking to Gree and getting the, getting Webval's, vial of blood. Rook, you going with once again?
I'll go quickly drop in if I've got time. Drop in to see Gabby. It should be coming up to the 2-week mark now.
We'll take the...
Should be coming up to the 2-week mark. It was 2-week mark from when we last had this discussion, which was 3 days ago in game.
Because it was a 2-week mark before I went on my pilgrimage.
Oh yes, sorry. No, we were talking. Yeah. Sorry. So yes, that would be around the rough time. Okay, so moving you forward.
We'll take the fire flowers to...
I gotta head off, guys.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you otherwise head back or handle your blood drinking out of session. You hand off the fire blossoms, you gather the things, you spend some time with Gabby, we'll sort that out session.
Yep.
And you all return to the sound, and as you return, kind of preparing, you sleep for the final day, but you are woken to the sound of horns and drums in the distance.
By the way, I only had 5.
Oh, 5. Okay, good to know.
Horn and drums.
Horns and drums. The Barrenlands.
Time to fight.
The Orc Marauders.
Oh yeah, fight, right. Yes, I forgot.
Okay. So,
Big fight that we're going into to murder people.
Yes. So, for the stream, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. We got a lot of information gathering and otherwise discussion done today. So, hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.